Hello.
Hello.
How are we?
I'm fine, very much. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm all
How are
right.
you?
I'm all right. All right.
Good. I'm not convinced there's any sound coming out. Can someone tell us
Clean
if there's
up.
any sound? Oh, yes, there is sound. I
Oh, good.
apologise. Um, yeah, it's all right. I was
I've
just,
got
just,
this.
just.
I've got this
Wait,
fancy chat window that's supposed to be showing all the chat, but
you just
from
said.
what I can see, it's not.
Oh well, that's fine. You. I don't know why you said. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what to do. Hello, Marcus, back from Essen. Hello, Jamie, back from the Rose and Crowns Games Day. Um, it's just you two in here, to be honest, and Jamie won't say anything because he'll be playing video games. So it's just Marcus. Well, that's very rude, Jamie. So, Jamie, are you there, Luke?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jamie is somebody I know. I
Mm-hmm.
hesitate to call him a friend, and he incredibly insulted me the other day, and he just kept going on about how I was a boomer.
A baby boomer?
Yeah,
You're not that old, mate.
I know I'm not that old.
No, yeah.
You know when you're like
Our
when you're
parents were baby boomers.
yeah, our parents were baby boomers.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're Generation X, and even then, only on the tail end of Generation X.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm
I don't think you are, actually.
I'm
I
technically
wouldn't.
not Generation X, but
So you'll be Generation Y, won't you?
Oh, am I Generation Y?
I think so.
Well, see, right. I had in my head when I heard the phrase millennial,
Yeah.
I thought that was somebody who was essentially born around the millennium, who is therefore now somewhere between 18, 20-ish, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I don't think so. I think it's young. I think it's older than that.
Yeah, but no. From what I understand, a millennial is actually somebody who kind of became an adult around the millennium.
Right.
Which therefore makes me a millennial, and I'm not happy with this shit. I don't want to be a bloody millennial. I'm not millennial as far as I'm concerned.
No. Okay. Well, fair enough. I always kind of identify myself with Generation X because I watch Reality Bites. That's how I do it. See, already I'm unhappy with the angle I've got this goddamn
Reality
camera.
Bites. What's Reality Bites? Does that prove I'm not Generation X?
Reality, yes, it does actually. Reality Bites was a young adult. It had Winona Ryder in and a load of other Generation X type actors. It was like it was kind of the Generation X, not the defining film because there's a number of Generation Xy films, isn't there? But one of the films that that defined what Generation X was. There was also Generation X by Douglas Copeland, which was a novel which is quite interesting, although it goes all over the place. I might be coming in and out of the thing. I'm desperately looking for my Citadel miniature holder thing, but I can't find it.
I think you've definitely made me realise I'm obviously not Generation X
No,
because
you're not. You're not Generation X.
no, I
I'm
must.
on the tail end of it. Generation X.
Oh, okay, right. Then well, then I'm Generation Y, which I didn't think actually existed. I thought Generation X was it went Generation X and then Millennial.
No, it goes Generation X and Generation Y. But I think not many people talk about Generation Y these
No, they
days.
don't.
So
Basically, the kids of the boomers, ish.
yes. Although but that kind of strays into. There's the greatest generation. That's the kid. That's the people who went to World War Two.
Right. Are they known as the greatest generation?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And then there's
Pleasantly respectful.
Pleasantly respectful. Yeah. I mean, they were the last people who had it really shit. With this is one of my themes I get on, but the boomers, our parents' generation, they're the luckiest generation to be alive as it stands so far. In that they had no major wars apart from maybe Vietnam, but not one that the majority of the population had to get involved in. Very good health,
Right.
a period of economic stability and growth, house, no, all that kind of stuff. So they've been basically the luckiest generation to be alive. You wouldn't know that from hearing them. You'd have thought back in my day it was really hard. But just because you didn't have a mobile phone doesn't mean to say you had it harder than the kids of these days. That's what I say.
I agree with that.
All the old people that I see for work are all living in very nice 4-bedroom houses, and they say ask them what they did for a living, and they say, "Oh well, I used to work in the mill, and my Well, they do round here, I'm afraid, because there were such things as mill industries in Yorkshire back then. I used to work in the mill, and my wife used to look after the kids, and we've got this 4-bedroom house that I got. It's like, well, I tell you what, if someone had a blue collar job now and the other part didn't work, they wouldn't be buying any 4-bedroom houses, doesn't matter where they were. Will they? They'll be living in shitty rented accommodation. In fact, I don't think it's even possible to have a family with one blue collar worker and whatever. Minimum wage doesn't exactly support a family, does it?
No. No, it doesn't.
So that's my rant about...
Well, not nicely, anyway.
Act like a boomer, get called a boomer.
I like that.
Yeah. Well.
Would you say... So, Jamie, is he a boomer because you've got 3 kids, haven't you? So, does that make you a boomer?
No, I think it's being... No, boomers are... Yeah, anyway. He just knows it winds me up. God damn it. So I'm painting this chap, and this is theoretically meant to be white. With contrast paint white. This doesn't look white to me.
No, it won't at first. Yeah.
This looks grey.
It will look
Does it
grey.
lighten up?
You will have to do a bit of highlighting to it and stuff to get those white edges, but the contrast paint isn't necessarily to just go straight to white. Well, from what I've seen, it's more to do that nice sort of grey gradient into the edges, into the gaps, sort of thing, and then you can bring it up to as much white as you like, kind of thing.
I tell you what, it is quite tricky to work out where I've painted where I haven't.
I was about to say, it doesn't really look like you've done anything. You're just slapping a brush against a miniature.
I can see it's
a bit shiny, but that's it.
But yeah, we'll see.
I'm still on the old Boroughs and Badgers. I did want to get the Beastgrave stuff put together because I wanted to do the Beastmen, but I realised very quickly I was never going to get them done and together and so forth. So I gave up. But I'm going to do those. I'm going to do something on those soon.
They're quite pleasurable to put together, the Beastgrave stuff.
Well, I was considering at first just sitting here putting them together and chatting. But is that a hobby enough, or?
Yeah, that's hobby enough, I think.
Bollocks to it. That's what I'm going to do then.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Be making clipping noises.
Yeah, a little clip, 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 clip.
What are we painting? Well, Luke's not painting anything. He's going to put Beastgrave together, which is the Shadespire third incantation.
Beastgrave.
Yeah.
Specifically, that angry dude on the cover there. That angry goat man.
I tell you what, I love the centaurs and stuff in Beastgrave. There's some amazing models in there.
I really like both warbands in this one, and also the other one that's come out with this set. You know, the ghoul one. Yeah, I've got a real hankering to paint them because I like.
Because he looks a bit like you.
But yeah, some mornings I will not.
David will understand that. You won't understand that. That's a phrase. So Luke's. I can't tell where I've painted, so I'm doing like 3 or 4 coats here, which is not really the purpose of contrast paint. In fact, you might even argue it's the exact opposite of the purpose of contrast paint.
Jim Crimmins, I am wearing my Sporadically board T-shirt as we speak right now. Yes,
I'm wearing my Noble Order of Huddersfield Board Gamers T-shirt.
You know the way I did that front cover for when the waiting screen's on, where I did the rubbed out Mike and put Luke? I did when I got this. Really consider getting some fabric paint and doing it to this one. Making my own hobby hangout Sporadically board T-shirt. But I thought, out of respect, maybe when if I'm a bit flush.
Part of Mike.
Yeah, if I'm a bit flush with cash, I might just get one of my own at some point and do it to that. But
I'm
probably not.
I'm going to buy one. As I say, I keep
I
waiting.
got a email from Redbubble today, and if you put if there's an email between 20 and 50% off everything.
Oh right. Okay.
So the code is something like up to 22.50.
Right.
Something like that. I'll send it to you because I've been waiting for a decent code from them, and I got these much better. The best price I had them available to me.
I'm glad you've got it, Jim. It's very nice of you. Are you the man with the Cookie Monster as an avatar? Jim Crivens. Goat heads and deer butts. I'm painting Batman, just for a change. Although I have had quite a significant break from Batman. I've been painting Warcry recently, but I'm back on Batman today. I've got a week off work, which a lot of it is taken by looking after the kids because it's half term. But the theory has always been that I'm going to finish painting Batman this half term, but I don't think the reality is going to be the same. But I'm going to get closer anyway.
Don't think you're going to quite make it
tonight.
How much have you got left to do?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 models, and a few bits. Like I've got a couple of computers to do, and these
like the bits
to do. But that I'm going to do them white. I'm doing everything white today. So I've got a few bits to do, and then I've got about half of the box of the big minis. If that makes any sense. So this will finish off the heroes and the villains main bit, and then that kind of side box where Killer Croc is and the Big Bane and all that stuff. I've got that left to do, but there's a lot of that done, and also a lot of those big minis are going to be deceptively quick, I think, because they're all one colour type thing. Like Killer Croc is going to be pretty easy to do, for example. Just a load of green and a bit of wash.
Don't worry, my webcam's being a pain in the butt, so I might...
I knew you weren't listening to me.
I was sort of vaguely listening.
All I can expect, really. Painted minis are sweet to play with, yeah, although as I was saying to Luke, I'm not convinced that I'm going to play this bloody game again. I've got so many. If it's a choice between this and Warcry, I'm going to play Warcry. And also, like, Mythic Battles hasn't seen the table for ages, and that desperately needs to come out.
Hankering to play some Mythic Battles at the moment.
Yeah. So I'd rather play Mythic Battles than Batman. Batman is a game that I think will really reward multiple plays with the same group, and that's just not going to happen with me. I'm hoping the versus mode saves it, because if not, I think it probably was. Imagine, I've had a lot of enjoyment painting it and stuff, and I did enjoy the games I played of it. So I think I'm being a bit harsh. Dan's just finishing painting it so he can start. Yeah, well, I would do. I looked into it today, Jamie, but it's not getting. There's thousands of them on sale on eBay.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if they're shifting, but there's a lot of ones in shrink. Now, granted, you'd have thought that selling it painted would be better, but I'm not convinced. I think anyone wants it has got it now.
Yeah, I think you're probably about right on that.
And it got such, I would argue, unfair.
Yes.
Well,
no, fair but overly.
Fair but overly contrarian.
Yes.
I think fair but gleefully taking the opportunity to give a big game a negative review.
Yeah.
From both Shut Up and Sit Down and No Pun Included. So I think everything they said about it was a reasonable criticism, but I also think they didn't focus on the positives either, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Especially the stupid Go by Conan references and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I'll keep things of Shut Up and Sit Down to myself.
Go for it.
No, I need to...
Most of us know it anyway.
I think they're all right. I just don't think they've got a very in-depth knowledge of games. I think they're very good at what they do, but I don't think you should use them as your primary go-to for board game reviews. And unfortunately, most of their audience, that's all they consume is Shut Up and Sit Down.
Yeah.
And I do think they have very interesting critical things to say, and I do think they do a good criticism of board games. Don't get me wrong, and I think they make some good points in a very entertaining way. But I also don't think they play board games very often, in my view.
I think they just play Blood in the Clock Tower over and over and over again.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think. I from listening to them, I think they're a bit disenchanted with board gaming.
Do you actually ever listen to them? I never listen to them anymore. I don't.
I used to listen to the podcast now and again, and I watch the odd video, but I don't really pay much attention to their opinions because I know from games that I don't agree with them. That games that I haven't played, I can't trust their views on because I don't.
Yeah.
I think they'll bring up the interesting points, but I honestly think they're deliberately contrarian.
Yeah, I've said it from a long time that's what they do. They too often go against the curve for it to not have been the case on several occasions. Maybe not every time, but the trouble is, it just too often they go against the curve, and it's just bores me.
What does white contrast paint on white primer do? Just start to paint myself, so curious. Well, you're probably asking the wrong people because this is the first time I've ever used white contrast paint. But as Jamie says, I think it goes into the shadows and makes the shadows a bit darker. White is notoriously hard to paint, as is black, to be honest, because making the shadow. So you can do a number of things when you're painting white shadow. You can painting white rather. You can use a blue as the shadow, which is fine. You can use a grey as the shadow. You could probably use any colour really as a shadow.
You could use pinks.
Pinks, yeah. But it's still hard to pull off. Really, it requires some knowledge of colour and things that I certainly don't have. So this is kind of running into, theoretically, should be running into the things. Although it doesn't. It just seems to be painting everything just dark grey to me. I'm not convinced by this white contrast. Oh no, you can see it a little bit on his helmet there.
I completely agree with you there, Jim.
What's he saying?
That you should be consistent.
Yes, that's true. And to be fair, Shop and Sit Down are consistent, and I do actually think they've got integrity. The one thing I think about Shop and Sit Down is you won't find them taking publishers' money, and you won't find them bowing down to pressure from publishers, because I don't think they have a great deal of interaction with publishers, and I also don't think they have a great need for the publishers to send them review copies, because they're such a big channel. I mean, you look at, Dice Tower are obviously big, but they're big in a different way. But you look at one review from the Shop and Sit Down, and they get in, tens of thousands of hits on every single review. And every thing that really pisses me off is on Reddit, every other reviewer who tries to promote their stuff is voted down, and goes right to the bottom of the page. But every time Shop and Sit Down release anything, they're all over it like a bloody rash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really annoys me.
The Reddit crowd is their crowd, is it?
Yeah, the Reddit crowd is their crowd.
Well, there you go. That just says it all, because I literally never look at Reddit unless somebody links me to a subreddit of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know Reddit.
I have nothing really against Reddit. I just find the format really confusing and not very user friendly. I'm sure if I just persevered and got on with it, I'd find some really cool and interesting stuff, and would probably start to actually use it a bit. But
I started using Reddit when I gave up on Twitter for the first time, which was, I'm guessing, in 2013 or something like that. So a fair while ago.
Yeah.
And I said to a friend, it was Lee, who I used to do a podcast with. I said to him, the only thing I miss about Twitter is the occasional, you find a link to something that's really interesting that you. It's a bit like, I don't know if you ever listened to Radio 4, but when you listen to Radio 4, you think, you don't realise you're interested in Norwegian fishing until you actually hear a documentary on Norwegian fishing. You'd never go out your way to go and listen to a documentary on it. But when it's just on in the car and you've got nothing else to listen to, you find yourself sitting in there for 10 minutes after you've reached your destination.
There's nothing better than stumbling across somebody who's fascinated in something, because they will always talk. Well, if they've got an ounce of charisma or something about them, they will talk with such passion that it's undeniably infectious, you know.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you there. I like that. I like those sort of discoveries.
Yeah, so that's what you can find on Reddit often. Not necessarily board game Reddit. That's just pretty much the same every single time. But Reddit in the whole. But once you've been on there a while, you see the same things over and over again. But I quite like Reddit. But yeah. I mean, I once read someone on Reddit talk about Shut Up and Sit Down. They said I only watch Shut Up and Sit Down because, like, the dice tower's rubbish, because the type of people who watch or listen to the dice tower, the type of people who go on Board Game Geek, are fat 40-year-old nerds. It's like, well, as a fat 40-year-old nerds, you were completely right, I guess. Didn't make me feel wonderful, but I suppose it's not like the hobby isn't directed at me anyway. I can't really complain. So they've got a younger crowd, I think, a more Generation Y and millennial crowd, I would argue. Ooh, GMT going on sale right now. Oh, Plumpy Thimble. Plumpy Thimble has been posting some fantastic little skits on TikTok.
Oh, I saw you post one earlier.
Yeah.
And it just made me think about TikTok at the time, but
TikTok.
Because I keep meaning to look what the hell TikTok is. It keeps popping up as an advert on Facebook and whatever for me.
It's a new social. It's the new thing.
But will it last as long as Vine?
It's very similar to Vine. As
Right.
far as I'm aware.
I got the impression it was a bit similar to Vine.
I think it's run by the Chinese. So it's used to get information on board gamers by the Chinese. As a man in his 30s, well, you are. Your stuff is amazing. For a while, I was thinking about putting together a.
Do I need to watch more of this? Is it some of this stuff then? Do I?
Yeah, well, it only takes like 3 seconds. I mean, he's been going on for a while, but his stuff has always been good. But he's doing some really, really good. I don't even know you'd call them comedy skits, kind of memey type, very quick but amusing.
I think
stuff.
When I saw the post about it earlier, I recognised you, Plumpy Thimble. So I think I must have watched a couple, but I couldn't. None sort of sprang to mind. So I'm sure I have, but I will endeavour to watch more.
For a while, I was thinking about. Not for any reason other than to see if I could do it, which is the reason I do most of the stuff I get involved with. But putting together This American Lifestyle podcast documentary about comedy in board games.
Right.
Because it's something that interests me. And you've got Paula Deming, who's come out recently, but Pumpy Thimble's been doing it a lot longer. And you've got This Game Is Broken. And you've actually got quite a lot of people trying to do innovative comedy type stuff within board gaming, which is not the easiest space to do that kind of stuff, because it's I don't know, it doesn't lend itself to it wonderfully.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
But yet here we all are still trying to be funny. Mostly just entertaining yourself. Well, that's exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Do the thing that you would like to listen to yourself or consume yourself. So I think it'd be. And I made a list of people that I would like to interview or talk to about comedy and kind of the I don't know, the rise of it really and things. And Plumpy Thimble was on my list because he's been doing it for a while. Because there's a lot of people. There's been 2 attempts at doing sitcom based in board games. I haven't seen the second one, but Board with Life was the first, and that was quite good. There's This Game's Broken, obviously. There's
Board with Life did some really good stuff. Yeah, I don't know why they just sort of disappeared, but yeah.
Well, I think they disappeared because it's incredibly hard work.
What they did must have been extremely time consuming.
Yes, exactly. Chris, the leader of it, he started designing board games.
Yes, yeah.
And the others I don't know if Chris is involved in it because I don't listen to it, but they do a regular D&D podcast, which again the audience is much. There's a much bigger RPG audience than board game audience, I think. It's easy to be funny, I guess, RPG. But certainly you won't have to script it and stuff, which I imagine is what took the time to film it and things. So
everything, edit it a lot.
Yeah, edit it. There's loads of and there's is it Inside the Box? They
doesn't ring a bell, but I'm sure I must know what
comedy
you're talking.
reviews. There's two of them are Asian. One's a blonde-haired guy, and the other one I don't know what the other one. I don't know how to describe him, but it's very good. And they're incredibly high production values and criminally underwatched. I might link to that at some point. So there's a lot of people out there doing it, but I couldn't quite be asked to do this documentary, so I gave up that idea.
You know what we haven't discussed is some of the important stuff at the moment. If you're having a crumble, do you have hot custard or cold custard or no custard or ice cream or what?
Yeah. Well, we need to explain what crumble is first for the American.
All right, for everybody who isn't from England and doesn't know what the classic crumble is, if you get generally some sort of stewed fruit of some sort, often apple.
Hang on a second. Just before we do that,
oh my
Jim
God.
Crimmins, I just want to engage with people. Jim Crimmins, he says, those Games Workshop old school assemble your minis from sprues look like a nightmare, in my opinion. That is where you are wrong, Mr. Crimmins. Because what Luke is doing is possibly the easiest assembly type thing.
And admittedly making it look quite difficult.
Look, well, you cut off all the bits, don't you?
No. Only if sometimes I find, yes, looking at this, guys, you can see these little holes and gaps.
Bad boy. Look at this one.
Yeah, you get these push fit holes, so you shouldn't need to actually glue anything. But I glue them just because it makes life easier in the long run. Sometimes, because of the nature of physics, when you're trying to put a peg into that hole, it causes almost essentially, you're trying to put too much pressure and it just will not go in. If they are particularly well made.
If you put the put glue in there,
that's obviously the other bit, yeah.
Because you're putting things in a space that's not designed to have anything else in the space other than the peg. Look at this one. It's like a bat thing.
A bat squig.
A bat squig. The push fit Games Workshop things are amazing.
Yeah.
Granted, you have to do something with them. Can't remember. Granted, you have to cut them off and maybe shave a bit of the.
Yeah, I'm having to do a bit of filing and shaving, but nothing.
Shave a bit of the sprue bits off. Maybe you can be bothered. I often don't tend to bother.
Only if there's a particularly bad nugget.
Yeah.
I am doing it a little bit with these just because of the nature of where the clips are coming off. So
yeah, they're usually very good at sensibly. I mean, the thing about Games Workshop is they've been doing this for so long. They're usually really good at knowing
extremely
how to make things work, as opposed to
the design that goes into a Games Workshop miniature is quite astounding and probably not given enough credit.
And they're designed to be miniatures, whereas a lot of these, especially the new company Kickstarters and stuff, the models have been 3D designed on the computer by people who trained as 3D computer designers for computer games, rather than actual sculptors. I'm not saying they're not artists or anything like that, because there's an incredible amount of skill and knowledge and things like that goes into it, but they aren't quite as versed in the.
What a decent digital sculptor is when it gets to this bit, the bit I'm doing, a digital sculptor has to suddenly become an engineer as well.
Yes, exactly.
And they certainly at least have to have an engineer's brain to think about, right, how do I take this apart and then put it back together and in a way that, I mean, like I said, that this side of Games Workshop doesn't get enough credit. because you could talk about the the quality and the detail of the sculpts and the the interesting poses and styles or whatever. That's all amazing and that's brilliant. They've led that for years, but nobody has come close to touching them on this front of it.
Yeah, I agree.
And doesn't look like anybody will anytime soon. For the most part.
So expensive, and you need the expertise in it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, Games Workshop are the absolute pinnacle of model makers. Now, they're not always to my taste. There's too many skulls and spikes for my liking.
Completely agree.
On most Games Workshop models, especially when you start wandering into the realm of their chaos lines and stuff like that. But
I don't mind it on those lines, as in like I don't mind chaos stuff having loads of skulls on it. Have at it. It's when it's all over the scenery and stuff as well. I'm like, oh, for the love of,
Yeah.
Did you ever see that fortress thing they made, which admittedly was a chaos style fortress thing, and I think it was called like the Fortress of Skulls or something, and it's like they were trying to do a joke. I mean, there were skulls everywhere over this thing. It was utterly ridiculous, and
I'm not convinced about this white contrast. I can't
really?
keep saying it. Yeah, I don't know. It's drying a bit better on some of the other models, but I don't know. The thing about contrast, it takes longer to dry as well.
That's very much a pain in the bum in that sense.
Yeah. But I'm going to persevere because it's quick.
Jim, so going to Mythic Battles miniatures, you're obviously talking of literally good lad Marcus, cold custard, good man.
Is he saying cold custard like?
Oh no, he said cold custard exclamation mark. Anyway, we'll get back to that. We'll talk about miniatures for the minute, as this is kind of about that thing. The Mythic Battle stuff is lovely. It's really, really good, but at the end of the day, even my bias aside and my love of it, it is top end board game miniatures at best. If the only reason I would say that they really stand out is because obviously the gods are such a higher scale, therefore the detail is a lot less fuzzy. When you really go down to those troop miniatures and stuff, they're okay. They're not bad. They're not great.
The poses are good, but they're not massively dynamic.
No.
I
would say
which is always useful. I mean, but it'll be pre-assembled, so it has like a
which
really
limits it.
Sorry, what?
To be obviously for it to be pre-assembled, they're not even. In fact, they're not even pre-assembled. They're one-piece casts.
Are they?
For the most part, there was only one miniature, to my knowledge, that even originally came in two parts, and that was Poseidon, and you literally just had to put his trident in his hand.
I thought that.
I'm trying to picture any of them.
I can't remember any specific individual ones, but I definitely have seen cracks and stuff.
Oh really?
Where they've been glued.
Huh.
I don't think there's.
I'll look closer, but yeah, I mean, not many of them are multi-part, at least. And to be fair, there's no way they're all one piece. I'm just thinking about some of the models, but a lot of them are.
They're too dynamic. I mean, the thing with having one-piece models is it's a lot cheaper to manufacture, but you're also stuck.
You're limited
with because you need to get them out of the cast. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
And so you're limited with the amount of three-dimensionalness
exactly.
they can have, and the poses they can have, because you need to be able to prize them out of a cast.
And use that cast again.
And use that cast again, yeah. So the more parts a model has got, usually, the more dynamic and interesting the pose it is in. I mean, not always, obviously, because it depends on the sculptor. But Games Workshop don't shy away from making you have, like a proper wargaming model, high-end model, wouldn't shy away from making you have 4 different bits on someone's head.
Yeah.
Where, and that head will look amazing, and the details will be so crisp, and the plastic really nice and hard and not brittle, but sharp.
Yeah.
That
sharp detail.
But but it comes at a cost. And the other thing is, and I don't think it's something should really. I don't think it's something that Games Workshop get enough credit for. Really, is the majority of their models are made in the UK.
Yes, this is true.
And so has to
in the foundry
do with our UK minimum wage rules and all that kind of stuff, and ethical working practices and things like that. Whereas CMON and stuff are made in sweatshops.
Yep.
And
most of the board games around us, for the most part.
Oh yeah. I'll just so you see
miniatures aside, but I mean, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Most of those meeples, I would imagine, come out of some horrific conditions.
Well, meeples. Most wooden stuff comes from Germany.
That's true. Yeah. I did think the other day. I was wondering, it's like, did somebody patent the design of the meeple?
No, because many different companies use them, don't they?
Well, that's why I was wondering. But I was wondering. Obviously, patents only last for so long, don't they? So yeah. I was wondering how long did the maybe it was patented at one point.
Well, the first meeple was in Carcassonne.
Yeah, but then, so when did Carcassonne come out? Early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, so patents don't run out that quick. It's hundreds of years.
No, it's not. No, because it's not, because the Lego brick is currently.
But Lego's been around, all right, but that's been around since the 50s.
Well, there you go. It's not hundreds of years, then, is it?
Whatever.
I'm just saying. I just wondered, do you think anybody ever patented it? Because they kind of should have.
I don't think so.
Well, I kind of think Handsome Gluck should have,
If they had done it would never have been as popular, so it wouldn't have worked.
Touche.
No, I mean, you don't have to go down. And as I say, the other thing with Games Workshop is just because they're high quality miniatures doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be to your taste, because most of them aren't to mine. Although I like the comedy. They're very good at comedy stuff as well.
Yes.
At Games Workshop.
Hence I like their goblins.
Yeah.
Always been a fan of goblins.
So look, I've got a box of goblins here.
What you got? Or is that the Gits?
Yeah.
They're a particularly nice little warband. My favourite ones.
He's a goblin.
That's Snarbag, or whatever his name is.
Scarbag.
Well, he's the leader. So whatever there's on the front, Scarbag Gits or Snarbag or.
I've only got the models. I haven't got the box.
I think it's.
Even this guy's humorous with his big nose and his mushrooms coming out of his back.
I'm cutting the mushrooms off though. Some of them.
Why?
I don't like that particularly big one.
Kind
of looks like he's got built-in umbrellas. And I've seen. It wasn't my like sole idea. I saw other people had done it, and I kind of liked the look of it. So I was like, I think I might do that too.
These have dried a lot better. Look at this.
That looks very defined.
Yeah, you can't.
It's hard to tell the white.
It's hard, but I'll go over.
But I can see it. I can see. So when you turned it round just then, that like the back of that material on the across, that section there, the material around the back of his arse and the back of his legs.
Yeah.
That I could see white on that. Yeah.
Oh, with a bit of edge highlighting. Which is what I found with contrast paint. It's fine, and it will do just one coat, and then it's tabletop ready. But to make it look really look better, you do need to do some extra highlights as well. You don't need to do any extra shading particularly, but you need to do some extra.
It is
highlights.
Not a catch-all.
No, and I think it just replaces.
It can be for a lot of people. It can be for a lot of people, though.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with it being.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where you want it to be or end.
Yeah.
I reckon or maybe not with everything. Maybe not with what you're doing now. Well, maybe. But like a Tyrannid army or Marines.
Tyrannid, you dickhead, not Tyrannid.
Tyrannid. I've to be fair, I say it a lot of different ways. I would say that certain armies like that, you probably, an orc army, skeleton army, you could probably get away with doing very little else to it, if anything, if you wanted.
Yes. For one coat, right? Okay, this is a good example. This is one coat. This is just base coat. I haven't got round to doing the wash for this guy yet. So dead shot. He's nice and flat. I mean, everything's in the lines. There's no massive bloops and stuff. But he looks like a WizKid model.
Oh, that is contrasted, is it?
No, this is a normal base.
Right.
I was just going to say, and this guy is the same level of doing it, but just with some wash on, and a couple of bits of highlight.
Yeah.
But naturally, I think just wash.
Is that Dr. Freeze?
No, it's
who's that?
Ratcatcher.
Oh,
it's Kill 'Em Off.
It's a cool model. I like that. You've done a nice job on that. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's just wash and a bit of highlights, and this will look a lot better once it's done. Now, this contrast paint will probably let you get from, instead of having just that with one coat, it'll get you something more like that with one.
Yeah, I agree.
Although it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, because if you do a little blip, it's a bit more. You have to paint it white again.
Tricky.
To paint the contrast. Yeah. So you need to be a lot more steady with your hands with contrast paint, I think, than otherwise, because it's not as forgiving. Well, you can't. Why isn't this looking? Okay. Right, so I'm going to paint the insides of those later when they're dry. I'm going to do these chaps now. Bert and Ernie, whatever they're called. What are Harley Quinn's hyenas called?
What have you started down the GW stuff? Is it just the Warhammer Underworld stuff, Jim? Yeah, Jamie. The Titans definitely are multi-part. They were some of the ones that immediately sprang to mind. I was thinking, there's no way they can't be. They had to be multi-part.
He said he hasn't been down the Warhammer route. Not they have.
Oh, I've not ever started. Sorry, I misread that. Because I'd have $10 in it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's good as Games Workshop. I'm becoming more and more a fan of Games Workshop.
They're certainly winning me back over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and the other thing is they've just, as I say, Warcry's amazing. I'm bringing Warcry to Gearstones.
Good.
So we'll have a go.
And I'll bring my goblins.
Yeah, although, because you got the thing, haven't you?
Yeah,
that's fine. Although there's so many games I want to play at Gearstones, I'm not going to get to play all. Right.
Well, that's what you do with anything like that. Any convention, meet-up, games day or something like that you organise. Where you, for the weeks before, you sit there going, oh yeah, must play that, and oh, must play that.
That's fresh. The other thing with the contrast is it all looks good, you say. Right.
Oh, there you go.
Snake bite leather. See what that happens. Although I think it probably will be.
Used to be one of my favourite GW paints, snake bite leather.
I don't think they make it as a paint anymore.
No, they don't. No.
This contrast.
I presume they didn't because they've called it obviously snake bite leather now. But I had that in
Shadespire is a great game.
Yeah.
Although you need someone to play it with.
Naturally.
Well,
you could say that about a lot of games.
But if you've had 5 games of Shadespire, yeah, and every single time it's been a new player you've been having to teach, you're going to want to have games of Shadespire with other people who like Shadespire, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're not going to have much fun if you're teaching somebody the rules anew each time.
No.
Because you need to know what's going on. See, look at this stuff. This is proper.
Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, I think it's when it does darker stuff, it really shines. I mean, to be fair, the flesh on those Warcry models, bloody hell, that came out so well straight out the bat. You know,
it did. Although I did do some highlighting on that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know you did afterwards, but even just when we were talking and painting, and you were painting, they look fabulous. You know,
they looked a little bit pastel.
Yeah.
And washed out. The saturation wasn't quite there. And that's a common thing for the. But then again, I'm not actually painting over the recommended primer. I'm painting over.
Yeah, that's true. You're not. No, you're just doing.
Oh, this is good. I'm going to do a bit of a dry brush of a yellowy brown.
Yeah.
Over the top of these, and then a bit of.
Give them some black heckles or spots or.
What I am going to do, but I'm going to use wash to do that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'll do little black spots with black wash, just to try and let the brown still come through. Yeah, I'll do that. See, I mean, the thing about the contrast stuff is I'm racing through these models. I mean, I haven't finished any of them, but I'm putting base coats down quite quick. I like that anyway.
So do I.
Just makes you feel like you've got shit done.
Yeah, I'm going to do contrast on these.
No, he's not moving to Huddersfield. You can knock that one off.
What?
I think.
Oh, I thought when Mike Paul, I was thinking he lives in bloody Huddersfield.
He does live in Huddersfield.
Or nearby at least, doesn't he?
Well, he lives in Huddersfield like I live in Huddersfield.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
In that we live in the nicer villages rather than the socially deprived centre, which you won't get me talking about on a. Yeah.
Oh, has that cafe opened yet?
No, it's opening in December. I'll be interested to see how well they do. It's not we're getting a new board game cafe, which is
the Viva Revolution badge.
Yeah. Power to the Meeple, I think it's called.
That's it, yeah.
But it's got quite a lot of unfair criticism in Huddersfield.
Oh, really?
So, just from board gamers saying.
Oh, why pay there? Yeah, I saw that. Why pay there when it's free at IQ Games and stuff? And it's a different. You're looking at it naively, yeah.
Yeah. I think they were of the opinion that it was designed for them, whereas I don't think the board game cafe is designed for a hardcore gamer.
No,
because a hardcore gamer is already well established in the hobby and knows where. Got their own games and
they don't need a board game cafe.
Don't need a board game cafe.
Mm.
I think board game cafes are for the casual gamer and for people on dates.
Yeah,
in my view. But saying that, whether there's going to be enough of those people in Huddersfield is another thing.
Yeah, that's.
But I do wish them all the best. It's quite a nice cafe. It's a very long-standing old woman's cafe.
Yeah. So originally already was a cafe of some sort, was it?
Yeah. Although it's got no furniture. He did a tour, walk round it. It's got no equipment in there, so they must have taken all that with them when they went. But I'm sure it'll have all the plumbing and things, to be. Yeah. That's half the battle, isn't it?
I like the
gas and stuff.
I like the video he tried to do. It was a funny attempt at It was. I didn't necessarily think it was that good, but I mean, I appreciated the
effort.
Yeah, and I thought, it was, it was a good crack,
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. As I say, I don't think I'll be spending much time there, but it's not designed for me either, really.
But also, you're a long-standing fan of IQ Games, obviously, and you get on well with the owner, and blah blah blah. So
he's been exceptionally good to me as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I if I've got any loyalty, it's definitely going in his direction. I mean, he let me set up the board game group there for free. The venue's free. He's very supportive when it comes to my kids' board game group as well, which is where we hold it there as well. So there's no real incentive for me to piss him off. Well, not piss him off, but I want to be loyal to him, really.
He probably, admittedly, he probably thought like, oh, finally I'll be able to get rid of damn bloody Hughes. And then he heard these and he was like, oh, for the love of, what's got to happen?
I don't go down there much anymore. I go down to buy paint.
And obviously your kids' game group.
I'm a kids' game group, that's something. I don't go down to Jamie's game group so often.
Because it is Jamie's now, isn't it?
Oh, it is Jamie's game group. Mike's not. Yeah, Matthew Jude was talking about moving to Huddersfield for.
Yeah, but he just can't find somewhere worth the right money, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I think you'd need a job first.
He's caught in the rock and a hard place, It's like.
Yeah. Which the board game cafe would be a good place for Matthew Jude to get a job.
Well, that's true enough.
It is true. Although I don't think someone mentioned I'm using off-white, not pure white for this highlighting because I don't think pure white would cut it.
Fair enough.
Someone said to me, oh well, his presence there might be a draw, but I don't think it would.
Maybe.
I don't think people are aware as we think in our hobby.
No, exactly.
Who Matthew G. It's like when you got Tom Bassel.
Tom and Z. And I mean, to be fair, most of the crap in my leg. Ow. Most of the people were there, I would say, because of Tom and Z.
Oh right, okay.
Quite definitely. But that's still only equated to, admittedly to quite a lot, 150 odd people.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah, but then if that's what exactly, if Tom and Z draw that many, then in all nice, in no insult meant obviously to Matthew, then Matthew's draw is a percentage of that. So,
for example, when we go to the Dice Cup, no one comes over and says, "Oh, hiya, Matthew," or anything like that, do they?
No.
Although there was that guy who photographed me on the street outside it.
Screen capture from his dash cam.
Yeah. And Jamie Buckley doesn't appreciate quite how much of a big deal in the internet I am.
Does he not refer to you as YouTube's Dan Hughes?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, even I refer to you as that.
Exactly.
Amongst other things.
I do very, very little on YouTube these days.
Yeah.
But I still demand to be called YouTube Dan Hughes.
Internet Titan.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
I've been quite jealous of people going to Western, which is interesting.
I must admit, so have I. In many ways, not at all. But like I said to you, I really, really nearly. Did that make sense? Jumped on a plane and went for Wednesday to Friday.
Well, you'd have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. I would have, but I couldn't have done it. There was family and logistics and so forth that it was,
It's not the price of the plane; it's the places to stay. That's the tricky bit.
Yeah. I mean, I was basically I was going to say to Z, can I bed down on his bedroom floor, the hotel room floor? That was where the discussion came. Because I mean, literally, I could have jumped on a flight for £65 return. And I was like, amazing. Oh my goodness, I'd have had to get it. It was the classic Ryanair flight where you're flying to Dusseldorf, but you're flying to Dusseldorf something, which is 34.5 miles out of Dusseldorf.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, well that wouldn't be quite as convenient then.
I looked at it. It was still only a 40-minute train ride to Essen. It was nothing.
That is Dusseldorf then. That's Dusseldorf.
No, but it was. I got the impression it was definitely another Dusseldorf airport.
Right. Okay.
Like a smaller one.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's only £85 from Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we've ever paid. But we buy in advance, whereas you would think about going.
Yeah, I mean,
near the time. So,
which I was surprised that the flight was available at that sort of price.
Yeah. Especially
that late in the day. Or maybe that was the point. It was, trying to get the last. I
quite understand when the best price is for planes. Yeah, I might go next year. I missed all the kids' games. That's what I missed. I'd need a lot of money though, because these days I wouldn't get any free kids' games, so I'd have to buy it myself. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I think if you took the banner that I often see you flying behind your backpack, Internet Titan, YouTube's Dan Hughes.
I think I've burnt my bridges with a lot of games companies.
Oh, you think they remember you? I'm joking.
No, well, they'll remember my email address.
Oh, really?
Well, that's how I've been communicating with them.
Yeah.
No. Just because I haven't been. I've had a lot of review copies, and I haven't always been wonderful at actually doing reviews of them. So, not through any kind of. I find it well, I think I've said this to you before, but anything that makes me feel an obligation to something,
You back away from quickly.
I back away from, and I find it very stressful, to be honest, to have this pile of review copies that I'm meant to review, and especially if Cora doesn't like them. Well, I do say to people, we won't review it if Cora doesn't like it. And the first year I went, I don't anymore because I don't even do reviews anymore. But the first year I went, I said yes to everything, and I got back, and Cora didn't like 90% of the games we did. Not because they were bad games, but just because she was a 5-year-old child. She doesn't like everything, and she didn't like more complex games. She still doesn't. And even though she's more than capable of. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just
Jim. For me, I literally was going to go to with no real intention to buy anything. It would have just been to see some friends, and just take in the spectacle of it for a day or two. Just so I could kind of tick the box, it's there you go. There's one off the bucket list kind of thing. I had no intention of coming back with a whole pick, or anything like that.
To be honest, though, with Essen, if you're not going to buy stuff, there's not a lot of point going.
Well, said like a true non-social person.
No, socialising. I tell you, in them halls, have you seen the pictures of them? It's absolutely rammed. There's nowhere to sit. There's nowhere to play a game. Now, granted, you could hang out at the Dice Tower booth, which is where I got most of my socialising.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. I just didn't want to say that, but yeah. But yeah, to, like I said, just to walk the halls, just to explore and have a look and see. I have no issue with doing that. From what I listening to Sean and Ronan's, what do they call it? Their podcast about this, Treasure. But I've been listening with interest to that, but not really thought, oh bugger, I would have liked to have got that. There's not. I think I've said that once in my head. I can't even remember what it was for.
Mike Poole, he's pretty convinced that this year's Essen is a very poor Essen.
It's from what I'm gathering, yeah. I think that's probably obviously quite hyperbolic, because there would have been unquestionably a lot of bloody amazing, fantastic games, but I'd say we're a bit spoilt now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of great games, so we need.
That's the thing. You don't. What I mean is more a case of we have great games all the time coming out. They're not all reserved for conventions anymore. You see what I mean?
No, I do.
Not so much, anyway. I've done all me goat men. Now moving on to the other goats, or the centaur person, yeah. Which I had a look at their cards. I quite like the look of the way they play. I didn't particularly have much interest in them at first.
Are they ranged, or?
Yes, I think there was there's a few ranged ones in it, I think.
Never really played.
Very fast.
I like fast.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at Warcry. Not Warcry.
No, but in comparison to some of my friends, I wouldn't say I'm very good at it either. But I really enjoy it.
Massively care, but it's a deck building I can't do. As I say, I just can't do deck building.
I'm all right at that. I do okay. Probably better than I've done at any other deck building game, or something with a deck building process at least.
Yeah.
I was
faintly worried about, but at least it's a cooperative game, so it doesn't matter if my decks are shit. On Marvel Champions.
Well, no, but there's not that much deck building to it.
No, I don't know.
I quite liked that thing of where you choose. Arkham Horror's got lots of deck building if you want it to, But I was watching Tom and Roy's. No, yeah, but the deck building doesn't work the same. You basically what you do is you I'm trying to think how they explained it. Certainly the words they used, what it's called in the game. that you say you pick Tony Stark.
Yeah, aggression and stuff. But that's the same that's the same as Arkham Horror.
In what sense?
You had the living card game we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you had like different schools, didn't you? Like purple. I can't remember what they were, but there were different ways of doing it. And you put.
Oh yeah, but you could literally put specific cards in, and
you can put specific cards in this.
Oh, can you? I thought it was I got the impression the way they were talking about it that there was the aggression set, and that's what you put in.
There is a base set because there's not enough cards to put anything else in, but you can get more aggression cards and more.
Oh, okay, right, okay, I'm with you now.
Just like
right,
you had more. I can't remember the names of it. Sorry, more like I want to call them librarian and more.
Yeah, I get what you mean now. Right, okay, I misunderstood what they were trying to say then.
That's certainly the impression I got anyway. Because what would the point of having a living card game be? I suppose you might want to play with different decks. Actually, to be fair, like I've pre-ordered the Ms. Marvel. I think it's a very good choice getting the Ms. Marvel one out quick. I'm impressed by that.
Why so? I don't know much about Ms. Marvel.
Well, she's just in a diversity type way. She's the Muslim American superhero.
Oh yes, I remember you talking about her on the podcast with.
Yeah, and she's really popular as well with females. As in, she's not like
Captain Marvel
character, but she's not like a token that no one's interested in, but they just keep alive because it ticks a box.
Yeah,
she's actually really, really popular, and is a very well-selling comic and particularly with females.
Oh, cool.
Don't understand the Marvel Champions draw when you've got so much Marvel Legendary. They seem really similar.
I don't think the game sounds very similar, the way it plays.
I don't think the game's similar at all.
No. Quite different. I could see. I mean, yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yes.
And there isn't. See, I'm not convinced this. Well, I'll let it dry before I start.
Yeah, don't go again. Don't sit there and go, this is not working, and then 5 minutes later go, oh look how well that's worked.
Yeah. But it just seems a bit bitty. What do you think?
Oh, what? Sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm looking. What am I looking for? Sorry.
It just feels a bit bitty. But I haven't done any of the other colours.
I was going to say, yeah. Come back when you've done more of the other colours.
If you look at his thing, there's not a lot of other colours there.
Oh wow, there isn't, is there? Wow. Yeah. Maybe grey him up a little bit more. That torso in the picture looked a lot more grey than in your.
Yeah, could do, couldn't it? But I could just not bother. I'll just do his.
Because at the moment he looks like you've gone for a style. If you see what I mean, like you've gone for this, like I'm going to have them all just looking like black and white line drawings, kind of thing.
I wouldn't. I'll put his scabbard. Scabbard's in a brown, and then that handle's in black, and that's silver, and he's got a face. So I'll do that.
Yeah,
white.
that might break it all up a bit.
You might do, and even if it doesn't, I don't really give a shit because I'm not going to play with him.
He's a cool model though.
He's all right.
Quite a badass looking dude.
Yeah, he's Batman. He's Batgirl's father.
Huh?
Apparently, the cool Batgirl. Oh, he's not Batgirl anymore. She's Orphan. She's called now.
I thought that said he was called Orphan. On the card.
They're both called Orphan.
Oh, right, okay, right.
I'm guessing.
Have you watched any of Batwoman?
Watched it?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was something to watch.
Is it Batwoman?
No.
One that.
Supergirl.
No, yeah, part of that lot.
Oh, I didn't know there was one. No, I haven't.
The girl from Orange is the New Black, I want to say. I've never watched it. I just know of it because it was very popular. She plays Batwoman. I always struggle to say Batwoman because I was never particularly aware of Batwoman. It was always I only really knew a Batgirl.
Different character, isn't it? Batwoman and Batgirl.
By the sound, from what I've understood so far, yes.
I want this white down a bit. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, no, I haven't obviously because I've never heard of it. There's a new Oracle's coming. I don't know if that's the same thing. Not Oracle.
Sorry, Jamie, who's getting her own TV show and is the main character in the new Avengers game? Is that Miss Marvel?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
She's really good.
Oh, is that the new Avengers game, the VR one that I saw a trailer for? Because that was the most disappointing trailer ever. Because I thought it was the next Avengers movie trailer, and it turned out it was just for a bloody VR game. I was like, oh, you bastards!
It's soon for the next Avengers.
Well, I thought that too, but I thought it might have just been a teaser or something, you know.
Don't know why I'm trying. I need to stop doing that. Doing highlights before I've done all the base coats. That's not my style.
I used to. I can't remember who it was. Somebody I think I worked with who was into miniatures, and they had a really unusual way of painting. So, like, say he was doing, like, say your Warcry fellas.
Yeah.
He would literally paint all. So he would base coat in black.
Yeah.
Pretty much religiously. Then he would. Then he would then do the flesh, and he would do all of the flesh to completion.
Yeah, I know of people who do that.
Yeah, I always thought that was very weird.
It is weird, but it's people who are very confident in their ability not to make a mistake and shake their hand and get a big splodge on somewhere else. And I know from experience that would end in tears.
Exactly. I tried it once, and I tried it once. Yeah, and never tried it again because
that's what the professional painters do. You see them.
Yeah, I think that's essentially where he learnt to do it from, or certainly began doing it. But yeah, it's a very odd technique in my mind.
Madness.
Especially like when you've done all of the face, and then your wife comes in the door behind you and makes you jump, and wham! Suddenly the bit of blue that you were doing on his cape slaps across his face. You know, it's just like, oh no.
It's also a very slow way of doing things.
Well, yes, in a manufacturing sense, that's the worst, most inefficient way of doing something.
How many miniatures am I doing at the moment? I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at the same time. Now, I'm not going to get them all finished tonight, but I'm going to have a lot partially through.
Yeah.
Because they're all got similar colours on, so it's like, well, while I've got the skin tone on the brush, I might as well do all of their hands. And especially when they're all the same model, because you kind of get to know where all the bits are, so you don't have to think as much. I think. Anyway, that's my view.
No, Jim. Bye.
Okay, bye, Jim. Loser. He's off to where? He's off to
bed.
Be a parent.
Off to be a parent. Sorry. Right. Custard on crumble.
So crumble, to start, is like a fruit pie, but you don't have a base or side to the pie. You just put the rhubarb or apple or whatever straight into the pan. Yeah. If you want to call it a pan, it's not a pan, is it? But whatever.
Dish.
The tray, baking tray, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Pie dish, and then you put a kind of over the top. You put a very crumbly mixture of butter and flour, mainly.
Butter, flour, and sugar. Three things. Yeah. It's the same as a shortbread recipe, but the opposite with butter and sugar.
So you put that where the top of the pie crust would be, the top of the pie, and when you cook it, if you've done it right, it'll be crispy and crumbly, but yet also gooey.
Yeah.
Towards where it meets the.
Just like mine does.
Does it?
I make a bloody good crumble, yeah. Well, I used to be a chef. I used to be a chef in a pub, so I've made quite a lot of crumbles in my day.
Yeah, I do like a good crumble. I'm not very good at them. I sometimes accidentally stumble onto a perfect way of making it, and then I can't do it the next time.
Here's how to remember a crumble recipe, and it's exactly the same with a shortbread recipe. It's what's known as a 3-2-1 recipe. So, for one thing you have 3 of, for one thing you have 2 of, for one thing you have 1 of. So, say we're talking 100 grams, you would have 300 grams of flour, 200 grams of butter, and 100 grams of sugar.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it. Then you literally put all that into a pot, and you just keep mixing your fingers together until you just keep rubbing it together through your fingers until you end up with a crumbly texture. That's it. And with shortbread, it's the same. I can't remember if I've done the butter and the sugar the wrong way around there, but it's exactly the same. But instead, you would make it into a dough, a biscuit dough. Yeah. So that's.
It's the chewy and crunch. What I really like, and I think when I did it wrong, I might have put too much sugar in it. I'm guessing, but it was chewy round the edges, and then gooey in the middle. Oh, it was nice. I don't think it was meant to be that way.
What is your preference for underneath the crumble?
I like a good crumble needs to have some tartness to it in my view.
Yeah.
So a rhubarb crumble is
rhubarb or plum, maybe a bit of plum crumble.
I've never had a plum crumble.
Oh yeah.
Is there tartness in it?
Yeah, plums can have a bit of tartness too. Yeah, often. Depending on when you get, depending on what plums you get and when in the season it is. Yeah.
I actually have a plum tree that produces quite a lot of plums. In actual fact, behind our house there's a little wood that someone's planted. I don't know who it is, but it's like in a field and there's loads of trees.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new wood, but it's got public footpath through it. But no one goes through it because it's not really a well-known place to go walking. Although it's beautiful,
right?
But not many people know it's there, basically. And they're all hazel trees. And
I noticed
the other day they've all got nuts on.
Wow!
So I need to go up there because I bet I don't know when you can harvest hazelnuts, but they were green, but there were definitely hazelnuts on it. So I need to go up there and get some hazelnuts. But I've got plum trees, I've got rhubarb, and I've got apple trees in my garden. But all of them are incredibly neglected.
Most ripe hazelnuts are found in September and October, depending on the weather.
Well, that was when I was looking, and they definitely weren't ripe then. So.
It's Americans.
I'll have to go back and have a look at them.
Do you like a hazelnut?
Yeah, I just bought some today from the supermarket. Which I should have just gone up and walked up and seen if the other ones are like. But, well, theoretically, they're not my hazelnuts to have, but I don't think anyone else is going to take them. The squirrels, maybe. I've got hazel trees in my garden as well, actually, but they only... hazel grows so quick, and it's a hedge, and they only...
Is it?
Fruit.
I didn't
Hmm?
know there's a hedge.
Well, I use it as a hedge. Hazel's a hedging tree.
Yeah.
Well, you can make anything a hedge as long as you keep cutting it enough.
Oh, hello, Game Pit. Hello, Sean. I was just talking about you. Look what I'm building, Sean. Look what I'm building.
Sean from the Game Pit. Talk about hazelnuts.
But Sean likes an
hazelnut.
hazelnut.
Crumbles.
Yes, right, yeah.
The important thing. Cold custard is a no-no. If you're going to have custard, unless you're going straight from the can, like a divorced father, if you have it straight from the can like a divorced father, then it's fine cold. But if you have it on a pudding, it needs to be hot. But I do like a good ice cream on crumble, because that's cold rather than just room temperature. Or would you freeze your custard?
What, turn it into ice cream?
No, maybe not freeze. Would you chill? Would you chill it? Or would you just have it?
Yes, no, but yeah, I would probably have it certainly colder than room temperature. Certainly.
Yeah. See, that takes more effort than warming it up.
Not really.
It does.
What, to just put it in the fridge?
Yeah, or put it in a saucepan. You've got to wait longer for it to cool down than you do warm it up.
Also, do you make your own custard or ambrosia or whatever?
Well, bollocks, make my own custard.
I know. Yeah. Even I don't make my own custard. There's certain things it's just not worth it.
Exactly.
It's just more hassle than it's worth. And can cock up too easy.
Exactly. What's the point in doing that? It's like, well, it's not like bread, because home baked bread is fantastic, but...
That's true.
But it's such a ball ache to make that it's far better going to a good bakery and getting someone who knows what they're doing.
Well, it's the same as, like, I know how to make puff pastry. I will never, ever make it again in my life. because it's just not worth it.
Just what's the point? Yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to taste the same out of a packet as it does.
And literally, you will not make it any better than Just Roll do or whoever, kind of thing. Absolutely not worth it. And there's certain things just aren't,
So cold vanilla ice cream on crumble. I'm with you 100%, but not cold custard. I don't believe you have chilled custard. I think you're just having tepid custard.
No, it definitely came out the fridge this evening. Yeah.
What are you doing with keeping your custard in the fridge?
Well, like you said, because I like that hot and cold thing. So I wouldn't mind. Don't get me wrong. If somebody, I went round somebody's and for Sunday lunch or whatever, and we had crumble at the end, and they took a carton of ambrosia out their cupboard, I would have no issue with that. But I like the hot and the cold thing of it.
Do you keep your custard in the fridge as a matter of course?
No. It
placed specially in there.
Yeah, it got put in there, knowing it was going to.
You're insane.
Or,
to be honest, why not just have ice cream at that point?
Well, because I didn't have any ice cream. But I'll always have a carton of custard in the cupboard for such an occasion.
I don't.
Is it Sean or Ronan? Or is it both?
Sean.
Oh, I thought it might be both.
Will it?
Well, you never know.
They don't get on, The only time they ever talk to each other is when they're recording podcasts. So it's the time it's...
Yeah, they've only grown up together like brothers, but,
Like brothers. You notice Ronan was quick to distance himself.
Backtracked.
Pastry hates you, does it, Jamie? Everyone hates you, Jamie. I told you this the other day.
You're so cruel to Jamie. I'm not saying it's not justified.
I am not bloody cruel to Jamie. Jamie is the most abusive person towards me that I've ever met. He's horrific.
Now, I've heard some of the abuse thrown at you, so that's quite a mantle that you've taken there, Jamie, because people abuse Dan quite a lot. Well, where is that bit?
Whatever this is, dark grey.
For all that, Games Workshop are a funny one, right? Can you see on this? Right.
Sorry, I'm not looking.
So this is a little. I don't know if you can see this in my hand.
I'm
a bit hard to tell.
A bit behind, but
yes,
I can see something in your hand now. Yeah.
So it's this little. It's a grass tuft, right? And it goes on that base. On that base. Other than that, it's just the person joined to the base. That seems like a really, really redundant and excessive thing to make me do.
Well, that's the kind of stuff I leave out. On the wall, well, not on that, because you'll be left with a hole.
Exactly, I can't. But yeah, it's just that just seems a bit odd.
Stuff, there's these boulders that you're meant to stick behind the chaps, but I can't be asked. Leave them bits off. That's all right. So have you got yours painted yet, Sean?
Is what?
Batman.
Does Sean paint miniatures?
I don't think so.
Oh, I was going to say, I've never heard him say he did.
Well, exactly. So it means there's something can abuse him over. What time are we on?
Oh, bloody hell, it's only 9:45. Right. I thought it was much later than that. Yeah.
Weird, shitty clock going back business.
Oh, of course. Yes. I got my son at 5:15 the other morning. Let my wife have a nice lay-in. Because that's the sort of husband I am. A bloody good one.
How old are you, son?
He'll be 6 in December.
It's time he learned how to put the TV on himself.
He knows. He knows.
You don't need to get up with him then, do you?
I know. Tell me about it. Well, usually I wouldn't. Sarah would.
Laura's making her own breakfast these days.
Is she? How old is she now? Like nearly 8?
No, not nearly 8 now.
Oh, okay.
7.5, I'd say. Roughly. My daughter, my eldest daughter, went to look round A-level colleges.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they good colleges anywhere?
There's one of the best in the country around our way, but she's not going to go to that one, which is fine. It's the one I went to, though. I'd just like to point it out.
Look what that served you for.
Yeah. Well, they're, and again, you won't remember this because you're too young.
Go on.
But do you remember a film called Pump Up the Volume? Christian Slater.
I want to say yes, but if it's Christian Slater, then yes, surely I do. How old was he in it?
How old was he? He must have been, don't know, he was playing a high school student.
Yeah, I'd say...
Same time of era as Heathers. You must have seen Heathers.
Yeah, I've seen Heathers, yeah.
Same time of era as that.
Right.
And it was, Christian Slater played Happy Harry Hardon, who was ran a pirate radio station. He was a
yeah, this is ringing a bell now. Yes.
He was a high school student, and he was a shy retiring high school. He just moved to the area, and he joined the school. And the school was one of these schools that's really focused on results and success, and expelled anybody who was struggling and things like that. So basically, acted immorally in order to keep their rankings up. So Christian Slater, did a load of cool shit, and did this pirate radio station where he insulted the school and stuff. Became a cult figure. His name was Happy Harry Hardon.
Happy Harry Hardon.
Yeah, which was obviously deliberately
inflammatory.
Yeah. It's a bit like Footloose, apart from with pirate radio stations.
You know what? Funny enough, I've never seen Footloose. Just one of those ones that's always passed me by.
It's a good one. Footloose. Anyway, the local really top-notch A-level college is a bit like that, as in it's very focused on results rather than the happiness of its students.
Right.
So she says she didn't want to go there because she felt they put too much pressure on students, according to her friends who've been there and stuff. And I, judging by my experience of it, which granted was a good 25 years ago, but it was certainly going in that direction then. And they weren't massively supportive of me, or interested in me rather. They're only interested in the Oxbridge.
Yeah, there's naturally in Cambridge nearby there is a college called Hills Road, which sounds like it's very similar. It's the college to go to in this area naturally, obviously, because it's obviously in Cambridge. It's even more. It has its more grandeur and feeds into Cambridge, obviously quite happily. And yes, they are.
Yeah, it's just full of pompous assholes.
Yeah.
Really. And so she said she didn't want to go there. She wants to go to a different one, which is fine. In actual fact, she wants to do a course which is taught by my main wargaming / games workshopy / buddy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rob that doesn't listen to the podcast, Chadwick. He teaches.
I was about to say, what does she want to study?
She wants to do history, politics, and creative media.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, a mixture.
Yeah.
Well, history and politics, that kind of lends itself quite nicely together. But creative media, that's a bit of a curveball there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why she. I think she wants to do it just because it'd be fun. And
yeah.
As a man who did theatre studies for his A levels, I can't criticise that at all.
You have no room to just.
No. I wanted to do a DOS lesson, so I said to Rob, who teaches creative media, I said to Rob, yes, I think it's good. I think she can, do 2 good subjects in a DOS lesson. So he's all right with that. No. As I said before, I've got a degree in media studies. And while I wouldn't advocate anyone getting a degree in media studies because it's completely useless in the job market, I think it's also good to have some level of critical training in media because it's led me to be more critical of, it gives you critical thinking skills, basically, and not accept everything you're fed.
Well, like you said, you've always found it gave you a very different view on marketing and stuff, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm not saying you can't get that without it, but it just, it's just a useful tool to be taught. So I'm not one of these people who poo-poos media studies as a subject to be taught at school, because I think in this world, media is more and more dominant, and it's very useful to be able to criticise it, but or think critically about it. Saying that, I don't think you should do a degree in it, unless you want to become a media studies teacher. But she wants to be a history teacher, is what she wants to do. So history, politics, and creative media sound like a reasonable mix. So there you go. Exciting. Is anyone talking to us?
Yes,
Simon Brass.
Dog Bomb's here.
Dog Bomb used to work in the creative media section of New College as well. 75% of your A level was media. What did you do, Jamie? Jamie used to work as a highly paid computer programmer.
Oh, really?
But now he works in a warehouse. He used to do apps.
Oh yeah, I think we discussed this. You told me that's what.
It's a
Jamie did.
DOS lesson. Yeah, I thought it was a DOS lesson, Simon. And you were just DOSing when you were working there as well, as far as I understand it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with a DOS lesson. I think it's useful not to be. I think it's mainly coursework lessons. Well, was opposed to the other two, which will be exams, so it would be good to have a mix of both those two things. She'll be fine, whatever she does. Keeps saying, it doesn't matter what you do for your GCSEs, because as soon as you get your A-levels, no one pays any attention to them. And similarly with your A-levels, it makes no difference. You just need to be able to get on to the next bit.
That's most education outside a very, very specific degree is just to get into the next bit of education.
Yeah.
You know,
the only kind of, unless you want to go really high in, like, you know, if you
medicine,
want to
blah blah blah.
or,
Yeah. That is not a catch-all statement, but in most day-to-day life, you know.
And you don't want to not try at all, because you're going to find it hard the next stage because you don't know enough.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, he was a whiz at browsing YouTube, so I hear. BTEC in media production and ICT and A-level. See, that's what Amy's going to do, a BTEC in media, creative media. But why are you creating media then? Media? Why are you producing media? Where's a Jamie podcast? That's what I want to know. Where's Jamie's YouTube channel? He's an entertaining, amusing guy, although not as much as me.
So few are.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I should be doing this painting in front of the. See, if I'd had a BTEC in media production, I'd have known to keep me what's it in front of the camera.
I don't think we need to see your what's in front of the camera.
I want to work in a warehouse. It's always been his dream. I think he's a warehouse manager. I think he's a logistics manager rather than works with Flavian.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Did he introduce Flavian to the game group via work?
Oh, no, Flavian introduced himself to the game group. Flavian got him the job at whatever Flavian.
I see.
Flavian's job appears to be very high flying. He designed, as far as I can tell, and Jamie can tell me this if it's wrong. Flavian designs carpets for vehicles.
Oh, what, like the form that it takes to fit within, like, the footwells and stuff, you mean, kind of thing?
No, I think it's more technical than that. He's involved in the acoustic
properties
of cars, so acoustically dampening the road noise of cars. But he goes all over Europe to meetings and stuff, so I think he's relatively high flying. There. Still needs something. I'm going to give him some silver on his belt, I think. Just to break up the...
oh, hang on. Just hold him up a little higher. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
It's all right on his back now.
Yeah, on the front, still a bit white. Still
a bit bland.
But
I think some silver on his belt might just break it up.
Yeah.
Silver's quite a white colour as well, but... Anyway. I'm not spending years on him because he's boring. Yes, he's in research. Exactly.
Right.
They're actually watching. 9 people watching, but we don't know who they are. We know 2 of them are. Jamie and Dogabum.
Doable.
I've just logged on. They weren't massively supportive of me, of interest in me. Oh, that was... We're talking about Greenhead College there. Greenhead College. It was Dogabom's 40th birthday this weekend. We had a games day.
Well, did you ever play anything good?
Not really.
No? What did you play then?
Played mostly with Flavian's 2 kids. They were very nice, but we still played kids games. Played Ghostel with Jamie and Flavian's
Is that good? That got a lot of buzz at one of the UK games. Not last year, was it? Not
I think it's all...
Not the last one, the one before. It got... A lot of people were saying it was a fun game, but then I could have bought it an awful lot cheaper this year. You know,
it was all right. It went on too long, but that's because I was playing. Oh, good night, Marcus. Oh, he's punching games. He's Essen Hall. No.
Oh, I see. I wonder why you weren't chatting so much, Marcus. Yeah. Bye bye, buddy. Bye bye.
Should have had him on. Chatted to him while he punched his games.
Should have.
I don't think I can be asked making that any better, even though I'm not happy with it.
Sometimes it's best to put it down and.
Yeah, well, he needs some wash on his face mask. Right, I'm gonna go back to the mindless task of white contrast paint for the insides of these. I think I'm gonna dry brush this white. It's difficult to do next because considers a podcast and YouTube stuff, but I lack the charisma. I think you'd be all right. Just need to.
Who said that?
Unfortunately, now
Where
I'm
are you reading
so my energy level's gone down. But you just need to pretend to be 3 steps more excited about shit than you actually are. That's how to do podcasting. That's what I told Max when he started his podcast. I said, just whatever you do, just ramp it up 2 steps.
Yeah.
And not give false impressions, but the energy levels really.
Yeah, don't turn into a children's BBC presenter, but you know.
Yeah. I saw a children's BBC presenter in a play gym in Huddersfield, which is a dangerous place for a children's TV presenter to be. I think if you're going to get recognised anywhere, it's going to be a play gym. But I think they're all based in Manchester now, so that's probably why he was there.
Yeah,
in the area. Alex, you know Alex?
No, probably to see him, but.
I said, I just, on Twitter, so it must have been a while ago actually, I just saw a TV presenter. It was the bland one from CBC, and then he tweeted back saying, thanks for that. I went, oh, sorry. I didn't at him or anything.
How did he find out about it then?
He must have searched his name.
Alex, I see. So you put his right. Alex, I gotcha.
You know.
So he's probably just got a thing that says every time he comes up anywhere.
Yeah, or if he's anything like me, every now and again search his name.
Wow.
See if anyone's talking about him.
Wow. Hello, do either of you ever... Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot you asked this earlier, Lynn. Sorry, I completely missed it. Yes, I do. I only use... Do you varnish models afterwards? Yeah, I do if they're metal.
Yeah, the metal you should do. Because
but if not, everything else has got enough flex in it that you don't need to. Yeah, for the most part.
Most paint is a little bit flexible.
Well, yeah, this paint is flexible and therefore doesn't need it. But then, so if you put it on a plastic paint onto a plastic miniature, you don't need to. Whereas plastic paint onto a metal miniature, it needs it because it will rub. It'll rub off, chip off. It'll find every way it can possible to get off that metal. Which
is one thing I found interesting actually is that I'm all meticulous and got my little headset on and shit like that for painting. But then afterwards, if something gets chipped off, I'm like, oh well, never mind. Do you know what I mean?
But for the most part, so am I. Yeah. Unless I can really quickly, right there and then, when I see it, just go, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, let me just grab that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there you go. Which is very obviously rarely the case.
Yeah.
Then fuck it. I don't care.
So I'll spend ages making sure there's no little blips or bloops or missing bits, while I'm actually painting it. But as soon as it's painted, if it gets scratched or chipped or anything, I'm like, oh well.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's not like I just go, oh, can't be bothered. It's just like, okay, it's used. That's fine.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Look at that.
What? I can't see yet. Oh, I'm off camera again. I apologise to everyone who's very... What's
just
wrong?
this sword, look, just
is it broken?
completely snapped it off.
You're heavy-handed.
Yeah, apparently, I think that might have been the case. Yes.
Look, I think you're all missing out on my exciting painting of the inside of this net. I do apologise. Yeah, you see it now.
You know what? I saw those nets, and I just thought, I don't have a clue how to paint a net that is not see-through. Yet you want me to paint it so it appears see-through.
Not amusing them. However, I can hear my echo in the background on you, by the way.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, have you got speakers on or something?
No.
Just close to the mic. You're putting your earphones in.
There you go. Turned you down.
However, on playing the scenario, there was a lot of people who look a little bit similar in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I thought, oh well, the nets would really let the other players know that these guys can fire nets at them.
Don't they just?
So, yeah,
there's no subtlety there.
There's no subtlety, so I thought, well, they don't appear very often in any other things, so I thought I'll stick them in. And plus, they fit in the box. Whereas the other ones I've used haven't fit in the box. Like that, the Batman one, where you put, you got the one Batman figure that you can either use a small base on him or
the Miller one, yeah.
My husband is trying varnish as he likes the shine.
Oh well, no, I don't do that. I do it. I only ever use matte varnish.
Well,
I certainly don't. I have done it. I've used a satin varnish on some Tyranids. Tyranids? How do you say it again? Tyranids, thank you.
Tyranids.
I forget how you want me to say it. I use it on them to show that they were obviously shiny, but yes, I have. That's the only time I have ever used it.
Yeah,
in that
varnish.
way.
But most people would say that
it was this varnish.
Matte varnish doesn't protect the model as well as gloss varnish.
No, it doesn't. It completely doesn't.
The more matte the varnish is, the easier it chips off. So what a lot of people do is paint things gloss varnish and then
matte them.
Varnish
yeah.
over the top of.
But I don't think that works as well as it could. As in, to dull back the gloss, you could still see that it was gloss underneath.
I think you're probably right, but I think it doesn't matter. I mean, if you like the gloss on it, then do it.
Yeah, if you actually like that look, have at it. Then even better, go for it. But very rarely have I ever seen somebody do it because they actually liked the look that it does.
Well, often you find people doing it because they want that like you eat Tyranids or there's water or something like that. You'll use it as a.
That's yeah.
There's a kind of 80s charm about gloss varnish.
There is. Got a green base, solid green, square green base,
green square base
with a bit of green flock on it.
Those are the days.
Oh, weren't they just? Weren't they just?
Got a friend who's bringing all his 25-year-old Warhammer 40k models to Gearstones because he's planning on doing a kind of Pringles cans terrain game of 40k on a ping pong table. there is over there. It's going to take all day if he does it, but I think he might do it. I'm not playing now.
I was going to say, does he know who he's playing this game with?
Yeah, he played with him.
Right.
He's someone I've known for a long time. I was at a wedding with him the other night.
Oh, okay. I'd never thought about that.
What? Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Huh. I've never painted anything that was 3D printed, and sometimes I've seen things that are 3D printed and thought, oh my good god, look at the layers in that thing. And I've wondered, because I've heard of people using, putting solutions on it that kind of smoothens it out a bit, and then I've heard people sanding it and all sorts. It sounds like, it sounds awful. The amount of effort that you have to go in to get some of these 3D prints to the level that it remotely appeals.
Well, miniatures, yeah. I mean, terrain's a different matter, I would argue.
What, as in, the lines don't show up so much, or?
No, the lines do show up, but I don't think it matters as much.
I suppose it depends on the bit of terrain, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Terrain you can do with a very broad brush, I think. Terrain is best when it's impressionistic as rather than absolutely fine detailed, and the layers don't matter as much. The terrain I've got that I 3D printed, I'm absolutely happy with, but I wouldn't be happy with a miniature with those levels of lines on.
Right. And I mean,
have you seen my Mythic Battle bit of terrain?
Yeah, because you gave some to Sean and Ronan when I was with the aircon.
Right. I mean, there were layers on it.
You could see them, but to the point that I would, yes, like you said, wouldn't have given a toss.
Yeah. He's a black belt. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu style. Don't mess with him. He's got a big fuck off katana. See, that just looks like... That doesn't look like I've done anything with it.
I get the impression that the whole 3D printing thing hasn't stalled, but the development seems to have stalled a bit.
No,
certainly in the home 3D printer. I know you can get these resin ones which are a bit flash and a bit more fancy, but still most people seem to be using the Ender Creality, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that seems to have been the case for a good year or so, and up until then...
You're right, but I think that Ender 3 was such a leap forward.
Oh, I see.
Because
it did a few hurdles in one kind of thing.
It literally did about 3 years of development in one. I think when it first came out, people were absolutely astounded. It's the price of it, that's the issue. I'm sure you can get much better ones for more money.
But it's such good value, yeah.
But it's such good value, I don't think you get much better ones for even twice the price.
From my sort of minimal research a few months ago, doesn't appear to be the case, yes. It is far and away the best value for money one you can get.
Yeah, and if you've got twice as much money, there's probably still not much point getting anything other than Ender 3, as far as I can work out.
Yeah.
Granted that
because also, you can, if you take the base Ender 3, I know you obviously ended up, this is what you hated about it, but you can turn it into even more of a machine. If you really know what you're doing and it goes well, obviously.
Or if you're like me, you just make it worse and worse with every single new bit you buy.
But
which wasn't good.
I do love the fact that you can 3D. Well, there's certain things that people recommend you immediately 3D print for your Ender.
Yeah.
Like there's a guard for the dust for the air vent.
Yeah.
That's like everybody says straight away print this, and then there's a little feed, like sort of slight jigamy flip thing that for weather.
Well.
Yeah, and I love the fact that straight away you turn the thing on, put in this little file, and solve the problem with it using it. It's such a weirdly incestuous thing, It's brilliant and bizarre in equal measure,
I'm off. Night, Jamie.
Bye, Jamie.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I sometimes regret selling mine, but the amount of stress it caused me.
I just you don't strike me as a 3D printer person because of the faff, and I could just imagine you just losing the will to live with this thing.
I wasn't losing the will to live; it's increasing frustration.
That's what I mean. Yeah, just with
was,
the level of frustration, because.
Yeah, no, I'm not really. But I do occasionally.
I know what Lynn said there. I bought the 3D printer to print things for the 3D printer. It's a paradox.
It is a paradox. It is a paradox. Yeah, no, but there are some terrain that you just think, God,
the terrain stuff is the bit that really appeals to me by far and away.
Sorry, again.
I've just people talk to Dan online. I just need to pop off for a second. Hang on.
Oh, don't talk to me.
Yeah, talk to Dan. Talk to him.
Oh my God, what am I going to say? I'm not used to this. Yes, so I went to Matt Simon's 40th and I played a number of games. My 16-year-old daughter played Decrypto and she loved it, which is great because she doesn't like playing games. So I think it helped that I wasn't playing it and wasn't losing my temper with her, which is my want. And I played Modern Art, which is very good, as it always is. And again, my daughter played that as well. And what else did I play? I played Zool, which was alright. Going off of Zool a little bit. I think it's better with lower numbers of people. And I played lots of kids' games. I played Six Nymph. What do I think of Men at Work? I thought it was alright. For a dexterity game. I wouldn't want to buy it. I don't agree with Jamie's opinion that it's better than Junkart, because I think Junkart has got a lot more legs, and that's the major issue with dexterity games, is they don't have any legs. You can't play them over and over again because you get a bit bored. It reminded me a little bit of Villa Pilati, which is a great game. But once you've got one kind of stacking, it's like I used to have Tokyo Highway, and once you've got kind of one of those things and you've played it about 4 times, I don't think you really need it again. Don't know. I've been thinking about designing my own game recently. It was all right. I don't know. I think you have to be really into a dexterity game to want to play it over and over again. Really. And why buy Men at Work? I mean, it's got nice bits, but Rhino Hero gets you the same level of fun and enjoyment. But with all this talk about Big Shot has got me thinking, because Big Shot's a game that I actually looked into getting the rights for. And when I say looked into getting rights for, it was a very half-assed attempt to look into getting the rights for. It's a very old game, and I got and Luke's just got an updated version of it from a Malaysian company or something like that. Big Shot, I'm talking about Luke. Are you there? He's still getting his earphones on by the sound of it. So I was thinking, I made a serious attempt to
what are you talking
about? Big Shot. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having a sip of tea. I was just saying, Big Shot, I made a serious attempt to work out who had the rights to it, because there's this obscure Taiwanese or Malaysian or whatever company published it, and it's very old. It's about 10 years old.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I thought, well, if they haven't got the rights to publish it in Europe, and even America, because it didn't seem to be available anywhere, then I'd be interested in seeing if I could get Gary King to redo the art for it, and then call it Huddersfield or something, or set it in Huddersfield, because it'd be quite easy to do, and do a Kickstarter. But then I researched it, and the designer died about 6 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's not. I mean, obviously someone has the rights to it, but it's not as easy as emailing somebody and saying, "Have you got the rights to this? What do we need to do to, whatever?" So I gave it up. It was a bad job. But I think there's some mechanics in it which I really, really love that I think would be easily used in another game. I think I could adapt if I was going to design a game, I think I'd definitely use that mechanic of there's two killer mechanics in Big Shot, but the one that appeals to me most to kind of reuse is the one where you borrow money from the bank, but you get one less back every time you borrow the money. Yeah, because that's hilarious.
Works brilliantly. Yeah,
it does.
So simple.
And the other thing that works brilliantly is that whole area majority. But if someone ties, then they're completely eliminated. So if you've got two people tying for first place, then the
third, as it were, gets it.
Yeah. And that works excellently as well. But I wouldn't copy that one. But I think in any kind of game, that whole diminishing returns banking system is really good and could be used in a lot of places. So if I was going to steal a mechanic from somewhere, make my own game, which I'll never get around to doing because I'm too lazy, that would be it. What would your be?
A
weird sleeve, yeah.
I have done it in the game, the Wild West game I made.
Yeah.
I very much borrowed not even borrowed, completely copied it's the basis of bolt action in the drawing from the bag turn order.
Right.
Which has been borrowed. I say borrowed.
Stolen.
I'm trying to think if anybody else did it, but Rick Priestley obviously did bolt action, and then he's used it in other games. It's probably been used in other games as well, though.
Ben's recently interviewed Rick Priestley.
Who did?
For Doomsday. Ben.
Has that gone live yet?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I look forward to listening to that.
I suggested him.
He's a bit of a ledge.
He is a bit of a ledge, Rick Priestley.
Certainly for me, anyway.
Well, I think certainly in certain circles. I don't think in board gaming circles.
No.
I don't think a lot of Ben's audience will appreciate how much of an influence Rick Priestley has been on the game.
But you could sit there and say Rick Priestley is almost the Richard Garfield of miniatures gaming.
Yes.
That would be a fairly...
It'd be a legitimate thing to say. I'm not sure it's entirely true.
No, you know what I mean. That's a good way of trying to at least get a board gamer or a Magic player to understand the gravitas of who Rick Priestley is in the miniatures world. I
think Andy Chambers would be as well.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Andy Chambers, Jervis Johnson. I mean, you could.
Jervis Johnson. He was my favourite. He did Blood Bowl, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah. And my little thing of my little interaction with Jake Thornton the other day, which very much pleased me.
I don't know. I
mean, you do know Jake Thornton. He designed Necromunda. He designed Dreadball for Mantic.
Didn't do very well with that though, did it?
Yeah, it's done all right. It did okay. It's a bloody good game.
I've got a friend who's constantly trying to sell it.
Really? I much prefer it to Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl shows the day, though. I'll tell you what might be back from America is Blitz Bowl.
Yeah, that certainly sounds fun.
Yeah, it's just a mini Blood Bowl. But my friend...
Did you say he's bringing it for you from...
Oh, I'm paying the money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mate Stephen, he went to America, and that was one of the things I said. Well, if you see a copy, because he was also considering getting a copy himself. Because it did intrigue me. It sounded like a fun element of simplicity to it and so forth.
I've got a friend who owns it, and I've got another friend who played the copy that friend owns it, and they both said it's great. So I think, that's fine.
I don't know if they've done much with it since though.
Because the band's no exclusive, so they've got some.
I see.
The base set, and they've got a number of teams, but you can use Blood Bowl teams in it.
Yes.
So with the base set, you've got a load of cards for other Blood Bowl teams, which I think is a really good idea. So you could, if you had Blood Bowl teams, or if you bought one of the sets, then you can. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I know what you mean. Yep.
I'm getting distracted by whether to dry brush these nets first or to paint these things red, but I'm going to dry brush them first because then that means I don't have to worry about where the paint is going.
You were talking about Men at Work, were you? Is it any good? I mean,
alright.
it looks
It's a
fun.
dexterity game. I played it on Saturday. I enjoyed myself, mainly due to the company rather than the game, I think. But that's the same with any dexterity game.
I was about to say there's a lot of games you can put in that wheelhouse, can't you? Yeah. I'm
not a massive fan of dexterity games.
I like them just for the shits and giggles kind of thing that they are,
Well, exactly, yeah. I didn't object to playing it. I'm not like I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find something to wipe the paint off of this dry brush. I never realised. They all say paper towels, and I always thought, they always say paper towels. I'm going to use this, but actually, paper towels is what you really should be using, isn't it? Because
for dry brushing, yeah.
But I don't have a paper towel anyway, so I'm going to use a piece.
I'm putting together the Skaven warband now. Thought I might as well carry on putting together Shadespire stuff or Warhammer Underworld stuff, whatever you want to call it.
I actually painted that one.
I love the miniatures for the Skaven.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's very few in the whole range of the game that I don't like. Only those weird elf ones from the last one. I really didn't like those.
I wonder if I saw them. If I pay, it's like with the Warcry stuff. Once I started putting them together, and was focusing on the details and stuff. I actually quite liked it.
Yeah.
It was just while they were. Actually, that's not half bad. This net.
Oh, let's have a look.
Although it still looks like it's not been. Looks like it's not been. But it looks like it's still been undercoated. Nothing else happened.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy enough with it. Today has been
quite an odd. Those nets are quite an odd stylistic choice they went with for that miniature.
Yeah,
there's
a lot about the Batman game which is a bit odd, to be honest. Stylistically, there's a few like the Killer Croc they went with. It's like, why couldn't you have gone for something a bit more iconic instead of some weird?
Well, they did two of them, didn't they?
Yeah, but they're both rubbish. One of them looks like the Lizard from
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's what I was thought. Is that not what Killer Croc looks like then? No, I thought it looked. When I saw it, I immediately thought it was Doc Croc, as I like to call him.
I mean, there's no actual universal acknowledged Killer Croc, I suppose.
Right.
So I suppose my complaint is more, it's not my Killer Croc. You know what I mean? The one that comes to my mind when the other one's a bit closer to it, but even.
Sorry, I'm blowing into my microphone there. Sorry.
No paint on this damn brush. More paint. Oh no, I'll screw it up. Dry brushing.
Poly cement is like it's like a little bit of chemistry magic, isn't it?
Yes, it is good. It's better than it used to be as well, isn't it? I remember Airfix kits where you just end up with bits of string everywhere. Just a complete waste of time.
Yeah, so true.
Just thinking, looking at the box and looking at what I've managed to concoct.
Your thing with all these weird fingerprints over it.
Yeah, and stringy bits all over
it. Yeah. Your F-14 that looks like it's been sandblasted.
I do sometimes wonder if I'd like, because I quite enjoy putting the models together, so I wonder if I'd like a kit. I'm not into tanks and military stuff very much, and you can get those
Gundams.
Gundam.
I've long considered getting a Gundam to try.
Well, my friend,
they go from ranging levels, don't they, of skill level. I mean, some of the parts that are on some of those things are insane. Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's all push fit, no glue. My friend Rob, the media studies person, he has created a game. I haven't played it for a while actually, which I've been helped him play test once, which is really good actually. And he uses Gundams in it.
That was one of the things I wanted to do. Vaguely involved the potential of some Gundams. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like BattleTech or whatever, but
Mine was a bit more like a Pacific Rim game I always wanted to make, kind of thing. I think he's just suddenly disappeared. Has his internet died? Hang on. Let me message the dear boy and find out
So I
what's
don't
going
know why.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, just messaging him, people. Oh, there we go. Oh, his famous Huddersfield internet looks like it's working fabulously. Bloody hell, he's a...
Can you see me now?
We could vaguely see you.
I can hear bing bongs on your end. Is he sure it's not you?
Oh, I can... No, well, you've gone very... Suddenly, you're breaking up on your picture and all sorts.
Okay. Well, should we call that a night then? I know that's an anticlimactic end.
We could call that a night. Yeah.
Yeah. I apologise to anyone who was fascinated by my Gungam talk. Can you hear me now, though?
I can hear you now clear as day, yeah, but you're...
Oh, okay. Well, let's
Let me see if I can sort your video feed out, because it suddenly shrunk to next to nothing. Okay, yeah, looks like you might have just had a little bit of a blip in your internet.
I'm
Dropped
still here. I'm still here. Wouldn't be simple subscribe, you fool.
What is going on?
There's very little that goes on this YouTube channel apart from this rubbish, by the way. It's a podcast where all the action's at. No offence, Luke.
Plenty of offence taken.
Yeah. I don't know when we're going to next get a podcast with you.
Well, I meant to message you the other day saying I take it there won't be any coming for at least a week or so or more.
I don't know. On Friday, I messaged Mike and said, because I've got a few things. Well, I can't remember what any of them are now, but you know when something occurs to you, you think, "Oh, I'll talk to Mike about this," and then, but obviously he's busy with his move.
Do you reckon he's going to really like Alaska?
I would like Alaska.
We'd like you to be in Alaska too. Your internet would probably be bloody better.
Possibly. You probably get...
Mind you, they don't have a strong signal, but there's only about 9 of them using it, so it's all right, you know.
That's it. Speaking of which, that one internet hosting provider.
Is this the one you got like the auto renewal for accidentally?
So I accidentally left a subscription running to. It was letmetouchyourstuff.com, which is a
from your
which is a website I set up as a joke a long time ago
that's
from the podcast. And I think
I love the fact that that's what bit you in the ass.
Yeah, I seem to remember I set it up with that service because it was like £10 for a year, kind of introductory thing. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll set it up with that for a laugh, and then I'll unsubscribe. But then, obviously,
never did.
Well,
or thought you had.
Me not to, because it's one of the things I'm usually quite good at. Is if I sign up to a free thing, I immediately sign up and then immediately go and unsubscribe from it. You know what I mean? So I don't get caught like that.
Didn't you have to die for the beer thing? Didn't you tell them you were dead?
Yeah. I thought I was deaf.
Oh, everyone deaf! That was it.
Everyone said that. I think people thought I told them I died, but I didn't. I just told them I was deaf, so couldn't ring. But anyway, so this automatic subscription thing came through, and it was like 90 quid, and for a joke that was pretty crap in the first place, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I emailed them, and they basically said, "We're sorry you want to leave. Your subscription will end in October 2020." Like, no, I want my subscription to end now. So, and to be fair to them, it was completely my fault. I wasn't being an ass, It's one thing you don't do with computer, with customer service people, is be a dickhead if you want to do your favour, is it?
Nope.
So I said, so I went on the online chat thing, which I like that way of doing things, by the way.
I sometimes do, yes. I've probably had some of my better experiences of customer service via one of those, yeah.
Yeah. You can do other stuff while you're doing it, and all that kind of stuff. And they basically said, "No, sorry, you can't pay." Because I said, "Well, I appreciate it was completely my fault. You have to give a month's notice, and I didn't do that either. And you did send me emails. It's just to an account I don't use very often, so I didn't see it. And the first I heard of it was basically when you sent me a text saying my bill was overdue. So is there any chance, please, of letting me off? I'll pay a month's rental or whatever." And they said, "No, we don't do month's rental. Sorry, you'll have to pay." So I said politely, "Is there any chance of escalating this management chain, because I really can't pay. I can't afford to pay this, and it's going to cause me quite a lot of financial distress." Which it will. I mean, I've got a relatively tight budget. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's quite a lot of money.
Don't think any of us, yes, or 100 quid is just like, well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they did, and then they said, "Oh well, we've already registered the domain, which cost us £20 to do." And that's true, it costs £20
fair enough.
a year so if you pay that, we'll let you off the rest of it. And I went, "Yep,
done."
You're not going to get, So that was one.com. So I would actually recommend them, to be honest, because they were very kind to me. So, and I said, I will say to people that you are pleasant individuals to deal with.
I think it's one of those things. It's a good lesson learnt in that when you make a mistake in this sort of sense, which you did, you just innocuously made a mistake, like you said. Just own up to it. Own up to as much as of it is your fault. Like you said, don't go in there steaming in there as the big sort of because
I refuse to pay this.
I've worked in the industries where I'm almost always serving customers, and when a customer has an issue, whether it's remotely their fault or not, how they approach me about it dictates very much how much effort I put in to solve it.
Exactly.
And if you come up to me and look, this has happened, your company's really cocked up here, blah blah blah, but they're nice as pie, they get that mistakes happen, however, whatever it is, even if they know full well it was my mistake, if they're nice about it, I will bend over backwards to help them as the best I can. But if you come in being all bold as brass and who do you think I am? Customer's always right. Rah, 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 you'll get as much help as you deserve.
You get the bare minimum.
Yeah, it's just that's the human nature aspect of customer service.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing I appreciated was that this call centre, whoever it was obviously in a Indian call centre, because I mean that's how these things work, isn't it?
More than likely,
outsourced, whatever. But he didn't pretend his name was John. He gave, it was his real name or her real name.
That's nice, yeah, because I can't stand that when you have somebody with a thick Bangladeshi accent or something like that, and they say, "Yes, I'm Kevin," and you're like, "No, you're not Kevin."
Yeah, although I can understand why they did it, because it's difficult to remember who you spoke to. That's the other thing. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, that's true. Yes, with a name that has many syllables that is not of your that would not come naturally to your tongue, sort of thing. Yeah,
or isn't part of your culture.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah,
your culture is more difficult to. Now I've got two examples for you here. I'm painting off camera because I'm quite professional that way. And anyway, there's only us two watching, so
we can see it. We can see it.
I'm painting off camera, but which? Now these are both crap, and I appreciate that. But we've got a black net.
Yeah, I noticed you're doing black and red. Yeah.
Yeah, which one better? I don't like. I think red might be a bit too vivid.
When you were doing it, I kind of liked it bit of red. But now you've done the black one, I think I'd probably just go with
I
that.
think the black one's better, isn't it? I'll go with the black one. Plus, I get to use contrast paint on this circular round thing. Oh, I've made good progress. I'm calling this guy done, even though he's still a bit bland. But I think he's all right.
Yeah.
I might just touch up his face a little bit.
So, what, if any, games do you feel that you've heard about from Essen that you would have think, were you back in your buying days? Would you think you would have snapped up for sure?
I haven't heard about a lot because I've mainly not bothered watching any of it. But I have heard of the new one from Reineken's got a few new ones out, I think. But the one that's like Blue Lagoon, but a bit more rules.
Oh, Babylon. Babylonia?
Yeah.
Babylonia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Matthew, Jude and Dave were doing like a little live stream most of the days at the end of the day. And I think like the first or second day he picked that up, and I'd only seen something. I think I watched a review about it literally that day, and I thought it looked nice, but a little part of me just thought, I think I'd just rather play Blue Lagoon. It sounded like it was essentially Blue Lagoon with an expansion.
It looked like it would be a bit of a pain in the ass to store.
Yeah, it was. It just for me, it just sounded like a bit too convoluted. Went on a bit too much, I thought. But I would happily try it because of how amazingly enamoured I ended up being with Blue Lagoon. That game really surprised me.
But I haven't really seen much else about it. I mean, as I say, because with Essen, a heavy Euro game, I think you can only tell what that's going to be like when you actually play it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's very easy to work out how something is going to play by playing it. Like Lorenzo, that just didn't hit my radar at all when I saw it at Essen, but it's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Same with Underwater Cities. It's like, well, I've got no idea if that's any good or not. I can't tell from from anything I'm looking at it. But
right.
So for me, even with reviews and stuff, I mean, obviously people say this is wonderful. I'll take that on board, but I can't tell if I'll like it until I play a heavy Euro.
Yeah, unless you really, really identify with that reviewer and know whatever their opinion, you know full well what that means to your opinion. Yes.
Exactly, but that's not even making a judgment on the game, is it? It's making a judgment on that person's opinion rather than working out. So I can't tell what I like with heavy Euro. To be honest, because I don't think I know what I like in heavy Euros. I don't know what makes one heavy Euro better than another. For me personally, I know it's got area control. I probably won't like it.
Right.
But other than that, I can't. So
do you like the Mind Clash games? Like Tricarion?
I enjoyed Tricarion. I've only played it once.
Anachrony?
I haven't played Anachrony. My hand's starting to get cramp. Oh, Jesus. Haven't played Anachrony. Haven't played any of those, I don't think. What's the other ones?
Cerebria.
No, I haven't played that. I liked Tricarion, but I won it. So that has nothing to do with
I think Tricarion's by far and away their best one.
I definitely remember enjoying it, but I definitely remember not quite understanding it, and kind of going, "Oh, I'll do this, see what happens," and I ended up winning. But we were all new to it.
You were all doing that, yeah.
Yeah.
I love this, but I love the style they've made of it. I love the theme of the game behind it. And,
I also like the theme. I wish there was something. Is it obviously the magicians? I would have preferred it being everybody being magicians instead of magic being real. If that makes any sense.
Is magic real in it?
Yeah. Magic's real in it. Obviously, it doesn't make much difference because the themes.
You're just setting up the illusions and stuff. With
No, you're not. No, you're actually doing magical tricks. You are casting magic. The Grand Wizard has died.
Oh. I always just took it as you were buying the components to perform an illusion.
No, not according to the fluff anyway.
Huh.
And that's a much. buying the components to perform an illusion is a much better way of doing it.
Yeah,
because that's a lot more
I'll
fun.
carry on with my ignorant view of it.
Yeah, I would do.
I'm a bit gutted you told me that.
Sorry. And,
burst my bubble on that.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I wasn't keen on that side of things. I thought, you had a really good opportunity to make it interesting and not just generic urban fantasy shit. Because I don't mind fantasy, but it doesn't. Everything doesn't have to be fantasy. Sometimes,
No.
magicians, in the turn of the last century, is an interesting theme enough without having to.
Yeah, completely.
Houdini and stuff. Yeah. So but the thing I miss is something that no one covers from Essen, really, apart from maybe Tom, but even then, not excitedly covers, is the kids games.
Right. Yeah.
Because all these other games are going to be available to buy in the shop.
It's so few of these kids' games will ever see the light of an English shore. Yeah.
We'll see my.
Yeah. It's so true, and I dread to think how many amazing kids' games there are.
Oh, there's
hundreds of amazing kids' games.
There's some fantastic kids' games I've discovered at Essen in the past. Absolutely amazing ones.
Some of the ones when I was up at Aircon that you showed me, just so enamouring.
Which one was that?
There was the one with the I think I wanted to say it was called Colour Monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
that I know you can get over here now.
That's made it quite big actually recently. I saw it first. My Dice Tower review was out there about a year before anyone started talking about it. Mainly because loads of people after my review kept saying, "Oh, where can I get it from?" It's like, well, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't have published this because you can't get it in the States yet, and you can now. But
this is again another one that you can get here, but Sticky Chameleons.
It's a great game.
Well, just
so
fun.
cheap now. Well,
yes, yeah. I will pick it up at some point. What was there? Was another one you showed me. It was a bit like Colour Monster.
You came back to the house, didn't you?
Yeah, I stayed with you. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I was just thinking. I can't remember taking any games to her.
It was another one. A bit like it had a similar premise to Colour Monster.
Feelings.
Yeah, I'd have to see it to remember the look of it.
Is it one with inappropriate nipples?
Yes, that's it. Yep. Yeah.
Feelings. In fact, it's probably a foolish thing to do, but I'm going to. Oh no, I can take it down off the wall. That's a lot better.
Oh, that's right. Haven't you got a bit of the artwork? Okay, that's it. Yes. Yeah.
It's a good game.
And another one I like the look of, which was kind of just a mass market thing, but the Picturica with the penguin in the middle.
The penguin, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I like Picturica anyway.
You can probably pick that up at a charity shop. I don't think you won't be able to buy it new anymore, that game, I don't think.
I remember when I came home, I think I looked for it, and I could get it.
Okay.
In some way or form. I forget whether it was eBay or whatever. But yeah, it was attainable,
Yeah. And I just messed this one up by doing.
I forgot to tell you. After we played QE at the Dice Cup, not the last time we met, but the time before.
QE? Oh yeah, Constreezing, yeah.
Constreezing, and I was extremely enamoured with that game. I decided I would treat myself to it. Yeah, I bought it a few days before Essen.
How much was it?
I think I got it shipped for about $40.
Yeah, it's not too bad for a game you really like.
For a treat, yeah, because I don't buy myself many games anymore.
I mean, it's not bad for a game at all, other than the fact that you know that there's not a great deal in that box type thing. It's like paying. I'm not saying you shouldn't have bought it. Sorry, I'm just saying.
What do you mean,
more-
not
if
a
that would
great
be-
deal in the box? What do you mean?
Well, there's not 40 quid's worth of.
Oh, right,
components,
okay.
is
Well,
what I'm
no,
saying.
but I mean, what is in there is that very nicely done with the whole dry wipe and dry wipe pens and stuff. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I've probably paid a lot more for a lot less before.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the quality of the game that's important anyway.
And I was yes, very very enamoured. But let me see if I can find. They sent me a because you buy it because very randomly it's made by a game company who make game tables.
Yeah.
Well, they sent this little video to me.
All right.
Where is it?
Well, I'm not. I can't see anything because I've.
No, don't worry. You'll be able to. Yeah. Right, I'm going to show it to you under the camera. You probably won't be able to see it under the camera, but.
Has it got sound?
Yeah, and then I'll.
It's not going to link up with the sound.
No, I know. I'll try and play it as loud so you can hear it. Right. Yeah.
Hey Luke, we just wanted to thank you so much for ordering a copy of QE, and we hope you really.
Now, what I love about that, you'll see the video come up in it. It's literally just a slightly shaky camera in front of what I assume is my box of QE. What I love about that is they took the effort to send me this lovely little video just saying thanks for ordering it, which assumes not many people do. But then she stopped recording early. Then it cut off midway through the end of her last sentence. And I was just like, oh, you were doing so well.
Well, you've got a little treasure there, haven't you? Then, basically, because if not many people order it.
Well, that certainly, yeah.
But there was a lot of buzz about it, wasn't there? I'm surprised.
Well, I think, like I said to you, when we were playing it, Tom had played it just before he came to UK Games Expo. When we were on the train, when we went to Paris for the day, we were on Eurostar, and he was going on about it to me and Z, and that was maybe the worst elevator pitch for this game ever, because all he kept talking about was the fact that you could bid whatever you want to bid. I didn't go into any of the intrigue of getting to know 2 bits of knowledge, how like the auctioneer,
yeah,
or everything that round, but then when you're not and you just bid, how much you bid and then how much it was, or so at least that the bid was more than your bid, and blah, blah, blah. So you just keep getting these little nuggets of information, which is the bit I loved about it, and trying to piece together that puzzle of how far you can bid on something.
Yeah.
It just didn't. He did not sell it well in that sense. So I can only be assumed that he continued to not sell it well in that way, and despite the fact he was obviously very enthusiastic about it.
He's not the only person who can sell a video.
No, I know, but I mean,
Okay.
what am I trying to say? That if I don't think he ever, I don't ever think I saw him do a review of it.
Yeah.
So if all that was ever heard about it was this weird game with this crazy auction, and I don't think I ever saw anybody do a review on it. Why, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do one.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because you enjoyed it, didn't you?
Promising. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was really, really good. I don't think I'd want to own it. I don't think I'd need to own it.
Right.
But I'd be more than happy to suggest playing it again.
It's one of those ones like I've said to you before. My group, my group of friends, I could just see us playing the hell out of it. It would just fit so well into us as a group.
Yeah. Because I don't have any friends.
No, obviously, and that's blatantly obvious why.
Well, I don't anymore. Not getting. Oh.
We're friends, Dan. I'm your friend.
No, I mean, my
I don't know if your laughter I should take as the insult or.
My willingness to play games with people with anybody is decreased to a point. I mean, it was already decreasing, but it's just can't be asked. So not.
Would you say this is a lull, or the beginning of a constant decline?
No. I think the beginning of the the beginning of the decline happened about a year ago.
Right.
But I don't think I'll ever not be a board gamer. I also think my mental state at the moment doesn't lend itself to me being enthusiastic and with a group of people I don't know. I can be jolly and fun with people I know and comfortable with, but to try and ingratiate myself with a new group of people isn't what I'm interested in at the moment. Like I generally try and avoid leaving the house, if I'm honest, unless it's to go somewhere where I know that I'm guaranteed to have a good time. If that makes any sense. So if there's any doubt I might not have a good time, I can't be asked doing it. So I don't go to a games night anymore, but I'll go and play games with my friend. I'll come down to the whatever it is, the Dice Cup.
Yeah. Well, we always have a good day, don't we?
Yeah. Oh well, it's because I know the people I'm going to play with. Whereas if I go to a games night, there's no there's that awkward bit where everyone's wandering around looking what to play with, and you've got to accept sometimes you're going to play with some people. All your closest friends are going to be over in a corner having a great time, and you're going to be playing a game you don't really want to play with some people that you're not really that bothered about playing with.
Right.
Because that's just the nature of games now. You know what I mean? It's like, and at the moment that's normally fine, but at the moment I just can't be asked.
Yeah.
So I don't bother going out to games clubs, and I arrange games to play with a couple of people here. Don't know where that was going. Can't remember what I was saying. Yeah. I don't think I'm going off games. I don't think I'm interested in buying any more ones. I probably could do with cutting down on my games I own, because I'm not just. Even though I've only got like 20, I'm not playing any of them. So what's the point in having them?
Yeah, I mean, you said about this the other day that you really. I think I would maybe hold off a little bit on the basis that sounds like you said you are in a bit of a lull. Don't. You know.
I won't sell Batman probably because I spent so much time painting it.
Railways of the World.
No, I won't sell Railways of the World.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about selling Keyflower because I know so many people who've got it.
Oh well, there you go. Which is why you sold half your collection anyway.
Yeah.
So why you kept Keyflower, I'm not entirely sure anyway.
Well, because it's a bit knackered.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Most of the games I've kept are either ones that I think Cora might like soon, which I'm still not convinced is a good reason to keep games. Because the other thing is Cora tends to prefer very simple games, even though she's capable of playing more complex ones. So I think she's always going to be a simple gamer. You know what I mean? Right. I think she's always going to like the punchy little games. Yeah. Punchy little games, which to be fair, you could argue I'm in that kind of the same situation now as well. But
you've certainly leaned way over that way.
Yeah. So we'll see. But no, I'm not going to sell anymore because all my games are such low value now, or like Claustrophobia, so heavy that I just can't be bothered selling. So I'll take a bunch to Aircon and see what happens.
Do you think you'll get rid of Claustrophobia then?
I'm tempted to. I've only played it twice. And I looked at it the other day, thought, I could play that, and then thought, now we'll play Warcry, because I can't remember the rules to Claustrophobia.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not a difficult one.
No.
I think it'll come back to you pretty quick.
Yeah, but I knew how to play Warcry, so just went
fair enough, yeah.
But it's a shorter setup. No, I don't know how to tell Claustrophobia. It's a good one. Plus it's painted, so I probably won't get very much money for it, because it's not actually... It's painted very functionally.
You did a quick one, didn't you, on that one?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure I should have bothered. I'm doing some wash on this guy's head. I'm not sure there's a point to doing it. Yeah, I'm more and more enamoured with the... I can see the point more and more with this white.
Contrast.
Contrast.
The white, yeah.
Although these guys don't had hardly any paint,
well,
but I
yeah, cloaks and contrast paint doesn't seem to be a thing.
No.
It doesn't seem to quite work.
I've got some water on right here. I'll just put it on the majority of the cloth. That should work. Here I come to save the day. Someone posted recently, contrast works best on cloaks. I was going to disagree with them. I thought there's no point.
Yeah, well, everything I've seen says that's really not the case.
No,
I've just noticed my Beastgrave cards are not foil on the gold side.
One
But-
side is and one side isn't.
No, not my ones.
Oh,
Right.
I've seen them in the shop. The shop they were.
Yeah, they were in the Games Workshop. I looked at them, and because you'd said about it, and I looked at them, I was like, oh, they are nice, aren't they? But they're not. Wonder if that was just the store copies.
That would be a shitty thing to do.
That would be very shitty, wouldn't it? Naughty, naughty Games Workshop. Or was like the first. Well, this was definitely in the first print run, so. Well, it doesn't look.
Maybe it's just the light you're under.
No,
They weren't foil.
No, it's definitely
they were
not.
just Slightly.
Yeah, metallic
Glossy.
almost. Yeah. No, they look exactly the same either side. How weird.
Yeah, although it's good.
One thing I'd never noticed that on the inspired side, the figure in the corner that shows the actual figure is painted, and on the non-inspired side, it's not.
Is that true of all of them?
I don't know. It's certainly true of the certainly one of the warbands in the latest set. I've never noticed it in the others, or not.
I haven't noticed it, but I haven't got any of the cards to hand. It's amazing how much paint dries darker than you put it on. You think, oh god, that looks awful, and then when it dries and it's
Yeah.
sorry, I'm too busy focusing on putting random streaks of white on this.
Yeah, these I want to say they're basically like wood elves, with a lion. They inspire by charging, which is quite a nice, easy
right,
way to
interesting.
inspire them. And then when they inspire, you often get a re-roll. You can re-roll one die in defense roll when this fighter is target of an attack action.
Skeletons inspire when they get brought back to life, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the Sepulchral Guard, they were the first ones I bought. I didn't even have a base set. My friend had bought it. And I thought the miniatures for that were so good.
Do you know, painting those, I think, is what really triggered my falling in love with being a bit better at painting,
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
yeah,
Because previously, I've been very much a base coat, wash,
that
and
would
leave
be.
it at that type thing. And then I followed the Games Workshop instructions on painting those dudes, which were those instruction videos are amazing. I mean, you get a very standard Games Workshop model out of it, but
Still a bloody good one.
still a good one. And you also spent a lot of money on paint, because it doesn't matter how much paint you got, you require 7 new pots for every model, because they do like.
They know how to play the game.
They don't know how to play the game. They don't have anything to spend money, don't they?
They are the kings of that.
But he's very good as that Duncan.
I've never watched any of them. I've heard lots of people say how good they are.
They're really good. They're really good, and it's how I learnt a lot of techniques that I use now, like edge highlighting and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Oh god, this guy is shit.
I learned how to do most of those things very, very many moons ago via the Citadel Painting Guide. It was like a book you could get.
It's a lot easier when it's video, though.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it was, because I learn by visuals anyway, so by watching something or doing it myself more, but certainly a lot quicker watching somebody else do it though.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. Comparison.
Oh yeah.
You look at them and think, well, that's not done much, and then you look at it next to something else. It's just the total is more than the
some of the parts and all that. Yeah.
some of the part. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to go to bed in a minute, Luke.
Yes, no, I'm pretty much done. Put together 3 war bands tonight.
Very good. I'll tell you what's a nightmare. This green cloak of Rashad Ghul's. I couldn't get.
I saw that on your desk when we started. I thought it was an elf from Warhammer Quest from first.
No, it's Rashad Ghul. Rashad Ghul.
Looks like you've done a good job on him, though.
It's all right. It's all right. But the green, I must have done about 50 coats. I'm never using that fucking green again. I tell you that much.
Really? What? Just
Yeah,
super thin, was it?
Yeah, just absolutely shocking.
I've got a few paints like that just. I always forget. I always forget that they're like that and think, why have I still got this? Why don't I just chuck this in a bin and go bloody replace it? You know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking for this one because I mean I suppose it would be good for a. Because I know payments just take. I know you don't use Games Workshop, but I know.
Oh no, I still do have a few.
Because you've got the system they got. You've got a base, then a layer, and the base is thicker pigment than the layer. But I never really pay any attention to that. I just stick whatever down.
Yeah.
Really, whatever colour I want. But this was definitely. I'm sure it would be useful for layering or highlighting or whatever because it did change it a little bit. But the green just would not go over the white. And it's just like, oh, God.
Yeah, I've had a green that did exactly that, and I've had a red that I just couldn't. It was a Vallejo red, and I think I have now replaced it. Yeah, this is I think the new one I've got, and it's just called flat red. Yeah, and it always was a pain in the ass to get to go down.
Yeah, it's like.
And I couldn't really understand why because it didn't look thin. As soon as you put it on a miniature, just didn't want to know. It's like trying to push two south poles of magnets together. It just wasn't having it.
This was my utterly laziest model. It's all contrast.
Black contrast.
Just all black contrast with a bit of silver on. That's like, I'll do.
Who even is it?
It's Talon, I think his name is.
Right.
He's an assassin for the.
It's not a very good model. That pose isn't quite right. There's something about that pose. Like his arm being that close to his face just looks really odd.
Well, it's all black. He's meant to be all black. So what can you do with it other than paint it black?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Once he's based and on the game board, he'll look fine.
To be honest, they're all going to look fine. You know.
Yeah.
I've done the Riddler. And I'm not happy with how vivid his green is.
Oh, see, I like that. That should be vivid in my mind, at least.
Yeah, I suppose so. But yeah, there's 2 Riddlers as well. And I cursed every moment I had to paint the second one. Because they're too similar. It's like, why are you giving me 2 of these models to paint, you bastards? Look at that. There's a poses different.
They really, they're not that different, are
they? They shouldn't. He's got a bowler hat on, he's got a trilby, and that's it.
they? Yeah.
Really pissed me off, that. Because like I painted both at the same time, obviously, but it's just like, well, I'm not going to care which one I'm using. Fucking, all just to say you can get another goal in your Kickstarter. It's only all these duplicate people. It's like painting the vampire Batman and Batcow. I resented every second of doing that as well.
As you well should have.
Yeah. It's like, you bastards making me do this.
Utter bollocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've done well. I've painted I painted the entire of one villain. I painted almost all these dudes. There's not much left to do on these buggers. Bit of red on the mouth and the collars, and then they're done. A few splotches. Made good progress. I've only got 3 computers after these are done. 3 computers. And 4 dudes left, and then that's...
Is that it?
And it's an entire tray done. So I've only got the 5 big models.
Oh, you've got the big ones to do, yeah. Well, they actually probably
Well, not
won't be
all
that
of them.
hard.
Not all of them. I've got.
Oh, really?
I've done Bane. I've done
Oh, yeah.
a lot of them because when I started doing it, I did it in
You did it in scenario order, didn't you?
scenarios.
Yeah.
So there's some of them that I've done. So I'm going to get it done this holiday. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. Get up early tomorrow and do some painting.
Good for you.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So there's no one not watching now. It says 3, but 2 of them, one of them was here right from the beginning, so I don't believe there's anyone here. but I am aware also that people do watch this afterwards.
Yes.
So as
Well, they're having a paint by the sound of it.
Exactly, yeah.
Seems to be something people like to do, which is nice.
So as you have audibly heard the energy leach out of both of our voices. Yeah. Have you ever seen Winter's SEO? These battle reports.
No.
Winter's SEO. He's a Warhammer 40k player, YouTuber. He's one of the popular 40k YouTubers, and he does battle reports and
Right. Just battle reports.
Yeah, mainly, and a couple of reviews, but mainly battle reports. And he's very good at doing it in a very narrative way.
Hmm.
So he tells stories with these battle reports. He's very good at doing it. But he's got a voice that just sends me to sleep. So I'd use him to. Oh, it's Lynn. Lynn's the third person. Thank you, Lynn.
Oh, you still here, Lynn?
Whoops.
Good for you.
Oh, what's going on? Look, here's my lineup of villains that I brought them all up in a batch. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he puts me to sleep, but he's really good. I enjoy watching him, but I also can fall asleep to him. So I recommend Winter's SEO to fall asleep to watching Warhammer 40k battle reports. better than miniwargaming.com, who I don't really rate them. I think they're a bit corporate.
Oh.
Lynn's gone now, I think. There's
Has
only
Lynn
2
gone?
watching. Yeah.
Oh, mine still says 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, now it says 2. Bye, Lynn. Charming.
Anyway, well, I was saying goodbye, wasn't I? So should we just say goodbye, Luke?
Yes, we should say bye-bye. Thanks very much, everybody. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.